What up, Milltown? What it do on a Wednesday night? Hump Day edition, Outlaw Radio, Inside Out, right? A conceptual show, if you will. We'll have a great conversation tonight. Welcome to the show. My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm the host of the show. People also know me as the Negro Whisperer in some circles, right? Right. Militant with a microphone, mouthpiece of the movement. Either way, it's the same person. We do this on Mondays and Wednesdays. I do different things. So sometimes I'll do the Big Black Sports Show on Tuesday nights, Outlaw Nation on Thursdays. But this is the Hump Day edition, Outlaw Radio. Share the show, hit like, hit follow. The number's 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. Rail, what's cooking, man?
Chilling, man. Glad to be here. You know.
Yeah, man. You always glad to be right. I need for you to make some Kamarish up. Yo, give me one of them nicknames. We'll use you was Billy Ray Valentine, you was Huge Head. Who are you tonight?
The overweight lover.
The overweight lover. But right? I'm that old. Right. I remember that type. Sister Courtney, what's going on with you?
How y'all doing tonight?
Man, we are good. We are well.
What's happening?
I'm be on and off tonight. I got this thing that every time we finna go on air, I do something unnecessary that should wait until we get ready to get off air. But I just put some dye in my hair, so that means I'm gonna have to go rinse the shit out. So
wow. Is that like a conch? Like Malcolm was getting in jail? Does it start to burn eventually?
That was perm he had.
He's getting a conch. That's what they was calling it, the conch.
But no,
yeah, that's how they get
this is not that. I just gotta rinse it out.
Oh, okay.
And then throw some moisturizers and things, and then I'll be back.
The
so,
black
I'm
man's
here for about 10,
pompadour.
15 more minutes.
The things women do. The things women do to look good for us, right? I'm assuming it's for us.
No, when I made that post on Facebook, like, well, if men said they don't like woo woo woo, then why do y'all do it? We don't do it for them. We do it for us because we like it. So,
okay. Well, for them too, they do it for themselves.
They said, don't be a pick me. We do it for us. That's what they said.
Armando Duckworth. Hold on, let me get the number for you, brother. 262. It's on the bottom of the screen. 262-202-5131. Outlaw Radio, welcome to the show, everybody. Kamar's out here. There you go, right on cue. Which doctor? Black people are always fucking late. Excuse me for saying it out loud. Foundational Black Americans have a problem. Foundational Black Americans have a problem with timeliness. What's going on, Kamar? How you doing?
What's happening, man?
We got a 5-minute
Hey,
break.
man, look.
Period,
hey, I'll be doing my best. I swear I'll be doing my best with this whole time thing.
Right.
You know, Kev, I always remember a long time ago, back we used to talk about what is freedom to us, right?
Right.
I remember I always told you, man, freedom to me is to be able to live without a clock. You know what I mean? And really, I just be trying to hang on, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this time, all right, I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? I'll be hanging on, but that just be my thing. And a lot of the time, man, I get busy and I lose track of time. You know what I'm saying? And just working, it's weird, dog. Like
Black people calling the motherfucker because they'll turn being late into a 10-minute diatribe. What I really was trying to achieve is universal freedom. Right?
I move purposefully.
Right. With intention.
With your mystic ass, right? He's mythical. Man, shout out to chat room popping. JoJo, man, you know it's all love off top, man. Neighborhood right there. Joey Phillips, man. That's my big homie. Said, what's up, Outlaw Radio? Peace and love to the family. Definitely, man. Shout out to Dre. Dre in the building early. Look, check this out. Deion James too. He said, well, this the dude with the scary ass picture. That shit's scary as hell. I'm old. Look, his little picture. I got his comment up on the screen. He said, what up? He's saying, what up, bull?
What up, Deion?
Right. He is a scary shit. But no, you know what? Inside Out, I want to talk about this tonight because I want to be kind of honest about some things, right? Like with the audience, because we talk a lot of shit on the show about different issues. And sometimes they are issues that we are personally going through or not. Like we can talk about a lot of different things, and it might not necessarily be what I'm going through or what you're going through, but we talk about it. So mental health, right? Talk about Black mental health in particular. A little research I've done. And I'm telling you, I'm going through this because some crazy shit happened to me this past summer that I'm going to be honest about. And it was, I don't know. I've been through, Black people shit, foundational Black American shit. I've been going through that forever. But shit piled up on me this summer and kind of got at your boy a little bit, shook him up a little bit, if you will. And I looked back at it and said, God damn, I was fucked up for about a week there. I don't, it was kind of scary. It wasn't scary at the time, but looking back at it, it is, because I'm like, I could have fucking had a nervous breakdown at that point. So we're gonna talk about that as we go along. And I'm sure as well as emotional maturity, because we talk about some of the sources of the violence in Milwaukee. And we see, especially when I break down really what Black mental health kind of what the things that are side effects of it. And you'll see like it's a bigger problem than we think in our community right now. And I'm not hearing it be dealt with in the right vein. I'm hearing all kinds of solutions, make the streets skinnier and no, lock their ass up, take the bail away and all this. I'm hearing all of this instead of saying, man, people need help mentally right now. People think about this shit. We're coming off of a quarantine, a pandemic, which regardless of whether you think it was real or not, or whether you believe in the jug or not, some shit happened. It shut the world down, right? Like we almost all had to hit reset. That was a lot of mental shit to go through. It didn't catch me then. I went through that. I said, oh, this shit was cool. But goddamn, the summer of regression. That's what we call last summer. We can talk about it tonight. So and that's kind of where I wanted to start at, just to let you know what the show is about. What y'all think about that?
Who going?
It don't matter. Somebody said, "Who should me?" It doesn't matter. Ladies first. What you think about this? The breakdown of mental health, Courtney.
Mental health is a thing, Kev. Like people fucked up out here, and I think a lot of people don't know they fucked up. I think some people may just classify it as being angry or sad or a little bit of rage.
I'm talking about for you. Think about, because I want everybody to think about their own mental health tonight.
Oh, my shit fucked up. Okay. I had to talk myself out of killing somebody for 3 days this week. 3 days in a row. Like it was really heavy on my mind to take them out. Yes, mental health is a thing. You really have to know yourself and be able to work with yourself and be able to really think about. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a real deal.
262-202-5131 Orlando. It's like I said, it's at the bottom of the screen. I don't know if he can see the screen or not. But yeah, I'm just because I'm talking about us personally. Like, because we can talk about everybody else and laugh and shit, but I want to talk about us here on the show and have people out there think about it from your own perspective. Go ahead, Kamar. I'm sorry.
With me, you know what I'm saying? It's just like well, I ain't gonna say every other summer, but I say every other summer since I've been coming into awareness of what I've been working on about myself, right? I would say it was just another summer of me learning more about myself, or my own mental wellness. Because see, when you're paying attention to it, you know what I mean, and you really being accountable for your shit, you know what I'm saying? You know where you fucked up at. You know what I mean? And you learn different areas. Like I say, it's different areas where I learned. Like, remember I was talking about when the motherfuckers did a hit and run on my truck and shit? And I'm like, man, you know what I mean? There's different levels to this shit where it's like, okay, I got it to this certain level. But then there's always something else, you know what I'm saying, where we learn that we have to work farther on with our mental capacity. And you know what I'm saying? So, like, with me, it's just that, you know what I mean? It's like a reiteration of that lesson, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be forever learning about myself, forever working on my own mental, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know nobody that's completely right, man. Everybody toxic in their own right.
Right. Yeah, the burden of I'm seeing Shay and Kruma. Shout out to him. Paris Lashani, he said living in this system can make you ill. Well, what you think about, like, once again, from a personal dealing with everything you deal with, all the things that's happening in the background, what they call an ambient noise, your own kind of where you sitting at mentally.
Oh man, the thing is, even before COVID and shit, I was on this same mindset and path anyway. Like for the past 6 or so years, ever since I've been, meditating and just observing society, even before this thing hit, I knew something was coming. So my whole thing for the last 6 years has been cultivating my knowledge of agriculture, foraging. Like I learned that you get depressed when you feel helpless and hopeless, but you can kind of combat that through applying yourself to find the knowledge to address whatever you're anxious about. So I watched this movie a long time ago called Zeitgeist on YouTube. Everybody probably seen it, but it was just talking about how religions was fake and how they going to do false flag event to eventually bring all this together. So with the COVID thing, it was kind of like, oh, okay, this must be it, what I was been preparing for. I mean, thankfully it hasn't been, but that's one way I try to keep my sanity is by identifying the things that I can control and apply my intentions and efforts there. So, I mean, the reality is, as a man, I push myself to try to get to the point where I can still provide for my family, whether the supermarket got it or not. So I've always been mindful of shit like that. Like even now they talking about, at first it was the truck drivers. Now it's about to be the train drivers talking about they ain't about to be moving shit around. And we already got a high inflation. So, with me, it's like, okay, shit. You always gonna have to know how to grow some shit, purify some shit, identify some things around you. So that's how I keep my mental film. Just for the past 6 years, I meditate to make sure I give myself some moments of blocking out all outside stimulus so I can allow my mind to repair itself, almost like a fasting. That's what meditating is for me, a mental fasting from all the stimulus and outside influences. I do that, and then I try to use knowledge to suppress my anxiety of the unknown.
It's fine that I'm glad that you all, especially you and Kamar, I guess me and Courtney are kind of like the screwballs of this show, because we're both still off and out there pretty far, right? Like, because what I'm saying is this summer, because I've been dealing with my back, right? And so for me to change up a situation where I'm always used to doing whatever I want to do, right? I do what I want to do. I don't do what I can. I've always done what I wanted to do. None of that this summer. So it just kind of caught up with me. It just kind of,
it's a lesson in that right there, Kev.
well, hold on.
You know what I mean?
It just kind of caught up with me in the middle of the summer because I was doing good. And then I had a setback where I wasn't doing good with my movement. Shit drove me all the way down the goddamn rabbit hole. Like I'm talking about, I went into a 2 or 3 day kind of span where I was like, what the fuck? It was crazy.
Yeah.
And so I always be like, man, people talk about depression and all this kind of stuff. And I knew I wasn't to the point where I was like putting aluminum foil on the windows or nothing like that. But I would say this qualified for depression, which is something I guess I've always been moving too fast to notice it. For me, it's just like, oh, you had a bad day. Not like 2-3 bad days in a row. You don't think like, fuck, man, what's going on? So I'm looking at mental health because I think people misconstrue and say, I'm cool. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I ain't got no mental illness. I'm straight. Look at me. I'm functioning. I'm out here. I'm some of the most mentally ill people function.
I think the confusion is.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Go ahead.
For sure. I think the confusion is like, don't get it twisted. I ain't arrived nowhere, and I still deal with anxiety or depression on occasions, but I've learned the plan of action type shit. I know, like the other day, I got rejected on 2 different positions I applied to trying to get out my position now, and it was like, damn, they had me do the fingerprint and everything. Why the fuck they waste my time? So then I'm like, man, you know what? Where I fucked up is I've had all these high paying jobs without the paperwork, so that now when people see my credentials, they like, we don't want to pay him for his experience. We gonna get a new jack with the paperwork that we could lowball. So I'm like, damn, I done painted myself into a corner if I want to stay in the corporate world. So, for a couple of days, I was kind of in the funk because I just felt stuck in my position right now. But I had to remind myself, no, man, shit, every day I'm awake, aware, and able to wipe my own ass. I have exactly what I need to achieve anything I desire. So it may not be for me to catch these positions in this corporate world, because then I might get complacent and might stop trying to find my freedom out this matrix one day. So no, I haven't arrived to where I don't face depression at times, but when that shit do pop up, I know breath work, I know meditation, I know the 10-10-10, list 10 desires, 10 things you love, 10 things you grateful for type shit. There's different plans of action to address it. But no, we ain't impervious, fam. We all human.
Right. That's like what I was just saying. You know what I mean? I was talking about again this summer. I learn even more about how much farther I got to go. You know what I'm saying? On the different levels, you learn how strong you are. You learn where your spiritual strength is. You know what I mean? Where you can retain your feet. You know what I'm saying? And once you reach that level, it's always something else. You know what I mean? But I was just talking about, you know what I mean, talk about that lesson when he's talking about, we got our own way of doing stuff. I do this, I do that, and okay, I want to achieve this goal, I want to achieve that goal, and I want to do it this way and that way. Well, you know what I mean? Like the religious folks say, man, tell God your plans and he gonna laugh at you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everything happened like it's supposed to be. So the lesson is to be able to be at peace at whatever. Again, like I say, you got to bring it back to everything, go back to peace.
You know what? First of all, shout out to Crystal Ship. She said, shout out to Rel for stopping by Control C today.
Man, I appreciate you helping me out.
I hear all of that. But when you walk through it, and when I say like, well, can't do what I want to do, I mean like you can't do it because you stand up and your shit just goes and it's like ball you up in the knot, and that shit's never happened to you before, so you deal with that. I mean, I guess focusing on what I do have in terms of support is what really ultimately gets me up out of it, because I'm, my family is sitting there like, Dad, what you need?
Right,
like, my wife is like, look, you straight, you good, like, you need some, so that helps. It helps to have a support system, and so I know a lot of people don't have that. So I'm saying, but the reality of it, like, I don't think a lot of people know, they can't accept or they don't understand the reality of being depressed or going through some serious mental anguish in your head.
Yeah.
The only time I can relate is when my mom died. Mentally, something was off, and you can't touch it.
I feel you.
Can't draw it. A doctor can't give you medicine for it. You just know every day something's wrong. I apparently was depressed during that time too, for a very long time, even functioning with it, getting to the point where I can still go to work and do what I need to do. But at night, out comes the liquor and the weed, right? So self-medicating, mental health, man, mental health. I'm in mid-mind. I always say I got issues. Good Lord, I need prayer. Courtney, what was you finna say?
I was gonna say, people never know, where other people's mental stability is at. People be doing shit, people be fucking with people be playing with people, and you never know how close someone is to the edge. You don't know. Sometimes it just takes one person or one action to take you from being Batman to the fucking Joker. You know what I'm saying? That's simple. And now you didn't just said fucking and threw everything away. So it takes lots to really, and it takes discipline and self-control to. Sometimes it's rage, sometimes it's depression. I think I didn't know I dealt with depression until I did a microdose of LSD. And it started off with me just laughing and laughing. And I just cried for the rest of the fucking time. And just thoughts just going through my head, but thoughts I couldn't catch. And it was like, damn, a nigga is so depressed that they hide that shit from themselves because nigga don't have time to be depressed. You got life, you got kids, you got bills. Niggas don't really have time to be.
Well, and then a lot of people, because you know they say you make time for what you want to do type shit. So
cliche.
Right. But a lot of time, at least for me, I know when I was going through my divorce and shit like that, and I was separated, I didn't know how to fucking be with myself. Like I go, I'm with her at 19, I get married at 21. From 21 to 26, I'm a father and husband. I had no identity outside of being a father and husband.
You didn't even know who you was yet.
Exactly. I never found myself as a man before I had to be man of the house type shit.
The thing is, as we grow, we still changing. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You look at our lives, you know what I mean? Like, I did all kind of bullshit when I was young. I thought I knew what was up. I thought I knew who I was. You know what I'm saying? But we really don't come into that until we get into our elder years. You know what I mean?
Right.
We start letting go of the bullshit, letting go of this. Our different views change a different shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And while I was going through my shit, I didn't want to, because I didn't know how to be alone. Alone was killing me, fam. Like I was sitting in that apartment, just in dog.
You was sitting with a stranger, nigga.
It's funny now.
You were sitting with a stranger.
Real shit. And he
the love for self wasn't there.
He was tapping me on the shoulder. Hey, man, we need to talk about this shit. Hey, man, I got to get out this fucking house. Leave me alone. Let me get out this fucking house. Hey, what y'all doing tonight? What bar y'all going to? Man, it got to the point where I was at Jeans Supper Club Monday, Jeans Lane Tuesday, Connie's Nightlife Wednesday, back to Jeans Lane Thursday for the live music, and then Friday, Saturday, it ain't matter where the fuck we was because everywhere was. But, and I tell people the loneliest I ever felt was in a club full of people that I didn't want shit to do with. But at the time, that was even better than sitting at home and dealing with myself. So that's why I say I stumbled on shadow work on accident. Because I was like, man, this is ridiculous. I'm spending all this money on the bar. I'm buying people rounds, buying people food. I could sit at home and keep money. And then when I sat at home, I had to deal with the shit that was like, damn, okay, I fucking failed my kids. Well, why you think you failed your kids? Because I couldn't keep their mama happy to give them a family. So like I had to have them conversations with myself, but through that, I found myself and learned to love myself. And that helped me become the person I am now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you didn't get to have no hoe phase. Well, you got to have a good hoe phase.
Yeah, why you
what?
Especially posting all them comments.
Is the crazy the fucked up thing is the fucked up thing is because in our community, a lot of times a lot of us are exposed to shit we shouldn't have been at an early age. My shit was from 5 to 11. That was my phase, man. I told
you can't have a whole phase from 5 to 11.
Man, that was my shit. Like that was if I could put it in there. Oh shit, that's warm. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew the shit was warm. But I was exposed to some shit. So
that's Tiffany had it.
It's fucked up, and it's really something that everybody should talk amongst their family about. Watch kids around your kids as close as you watch adults, because I was exposed to shit at an early age by older children, and then I exposed shit to other children that were my age or older, but it still wasn't some shit they needed to be exposed to. But like by the time I was that age, I wanted a family since I was 16, G. I was like, I don't want to be chasing no bitches. I want to get money, and I want a partner to get money with.
Aw.
Okay, get a family.
Nice.
And then I got a family. And then I was like,
hey, you know what? Hey, but you know what? You want for one, man. You're supposed to want that. You're supposed to want that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really should. You're supposed to want that. But unfortunately, in these days and time, you know what I mean? You can't really kick it like that. You see, you get what I'm
There's
saying?
so many people out here
Because of the way shit
help,
is, the way we look at each other, the way black people, men and women look at each other, you can't really kick it like that. You can't go into your first relationship thinking it's finna be picket fences and shit from here on out. You know what I mean? Like I said, y'all don't even know who y'all are. We've been taught since we was born to be something else, to put up a whole image for motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So y'all don't even know who you are at that point. You know what I mean? But
I gotta go rest my hair, y'all. I'll be back.
Originally, yeah, we supposed to feel like that.
I don't know if we're on the same page, Kamar, because as a father of a son that's 16 right now, he should not be thinking about getting no family. He should not be thinking about being married.
I ain't saying thinking of getting a family. I'm talking about when you think about having a family, on how it should be and how you want it.
Okay, so hold on. So once again, I'm speaking from a parent's perspective with my own 16-year-old son. What I tell him is,
I didn't start a family at 16. That's just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. We ain't saying that, right?
I don't even want him, but I don't even encourage him to be on that because he got so much life ahead of him. What I tell him is this: it is very cool that you got your girl and you don't want to be, you got a girlfriend, fine. But you got to understand, son, you got a whole bunch of life ahead of you, and you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. It almost never works. Sometimes it does, but it almost never works. So you got to grow up. Now, this is where me and Kamar do agree at. You got to figure out who you are. You got to
Right. And see, we on the exact same page, because I don't promote go get a relationship. I say it on the show. I tell the youth, man, look, figure out who you are. You got to find out what's compatible for you. You got to find out what you need, where you headed in life, to know what type of woman you want. Pimps get hoes.
Where I am now.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's where I am right now. But me growing up, I grew up Kojic. So it was, if you're doing grown things, be grown and get married. So it's like, oh shit, we fucking. And I'm trying to be right with the Lord. Like the crazy thing, I was a completely different nigga at 19. I was Bible thumping, being groomed to be a pastor. I was teaching Sunday school. I was studying apologetics. So now I tell my sons who 18 and 17, find yourself. When you find yourself, you'll find your purpose. And then you'll be able to find a woman who aligns with your purpose.
Right.
But at the time, I was told, get married. Don't be shacking up. Don't, all that shit. So I tell people I got married for the same reason a lot of people go to college. We told it's the right thing to do. And then a lot of us do it and find out it just might not have been the best fit for us at that time.
That was fun as hell, though. But look, no. So I said I had a fucking great time in college. I hear people say, "I'm glad I ain't going to bullshit." I had a goddamn great time in college. But so no, but okay. I want to take it back because we're talking about mental health. It's Outlaw Radio, Inside Out, Hump Day Edition. 262-202-5131. I have a Mondo Duckworth who's going to come on because he has some things he wants to promote. So he'll be joining us momentarily. But I just want to reiterate the fact, and once again, we're talking about from a personal perspective. I'm saying I've been in situations, adverse situations that took me down the rabbit hole. And a lot of times when I was down there, especially when I was young, I didn't know I was down there. I thought it was just normal, right? So you just move what they call moving into your madness. You just moving. Everything is crazy. And you in situations, you're around people you should not be around. I mean, it's just like you get to that point, right? So this summer, I guess me being more aware in the conversations we've had here on Outlaw Radio kind of made me look around at some things and say, you know what? Motherfucker, you are deeply, deeply depressed. Once I realized that, it was almost an epiphany. I'm telling y'all, people think on that shit tonight. I'm being serious. I'm talking about a ray of sunlight through a crack in the dark. Right. Once I said to myself, dude, I'm fucking depressed. Like I'm deeply depressed. And then shit just started getting better. But it took me because I didn't think I was going through it, and I'm like, oh man, it's fucking.
But that's what comes with awareness. Once you become aware, shit
can change. Like
and
you gotta
accountable.
realize
You was
you
able to
in
be
shit.
accountable with
Right,
that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And now you can fix it. I mean, you know what I mean? You got to reveal it to heal it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you don't know you have a problem, you can't fix it.
Once again, I don't want people to think, because when we say mental health, everybody thinks incapable of normal function, right? If you say, well, I have mental health issues, people think it's like, well, you really just you radio or some shit, right? Like, and so I'm saying no, a lot of mental health issues, listen at the effect of it. More often than not, for foundational Black Americans, that's my new shit, y'all. Foundational Black Americans. I know I didn't make it up.
Yeah.
First of all, you got to understand 83% of all psychologists are white and only 3% are Black. I'm going to say that again. We start talking about when we do want to go and get help. 3% of all psychologists are Black. 83% are white. I didn't get the other statistics because it doesn't care. We know. We don't care. We're foundational Black Americans here. That's what we only look at it from that perspective. Let me go down and bring my brother in. So
hey Kev, hey man,
hold
a
on.
lot of us don't even know what issues are, like simple issues. Just thinking about what
Armando, you got to turn your device down because it's giving us an echo. You got to turn it down. You can't listen to it while we own it. You just got to have the volume down.
Hold on.
Yeah. My fault, Kamari. It was crazy.
It's all good. I was just saying, a lot of us don't know what mental health issues are. We think we do, or we don't know what they all are, because it's a lot. Like, it's just errors in thinking that are mental health issues. Like when you talk about relationships or ideas of relationships, how some men grow up watching their father beat a woman, so they grow up thinking it's okay to beat a woman. You know what I mean? That's a mental health issue, because they're not thinking right. You know what I mean? They think in a way that can harm somebody else. It's an issue, a mental wellness issue.
Okay.
And we just have to understand it. It's just little stuff like that. Errors in our thinking patterns. You know what I mean?
I still got an echo. Armando, turn it down a little bit more, or maybe you buy a speaker. I don't know, because it's
I'm all the way down.
Okay, let me see now. I'm not hearing it now. I am hearing it now. Holy shit!
It ain't bad though. I don't hear much.
Yeah, it's low.
It just bothers me because it comes through really clear for on my end.
I got my volume all the way down.
Okay, can y'all hear Armando?
I heard him when he said so.
Okay,
right.
So look, I just want to make this point. We'll deal with it. We'll figure it out. We just got to make sure everybody got to make sure that their devices is down, because that echo will kill us all. So listen, this is the things that this affects. And when I say this, you got to understand that I'm saying at the root of these issues, there's usually some mental health issues. Mental health goes under with suicide, domestic violence, crime, and I'm talking rape, assault, robbery, drug addiction, child neglect, child abuse. Usually at the homicide, attempted murder, all these kinds of things. Usually mental health is at the root of them. And it starts with something as simple as I'm depressed and I can't figure out what the hell is going on with me. So that's why it's such a big deal. And that's why we're talking about it, especially for brothers, because because of that 3% rate of psychologists, that's why we don't go. I'm not gonna go sit down with no little white dude and tell him my motherfucking problems and pay him all this money. Fuck that shit. So there's a strong network of Black, therapists for foundational Black Americans. It's a real strong network in Milwaukee. I'm gonna try to tap into it and get some of those individuals on here, because I'm realizing with a lot of the shit that's going on, and people are like losing their jobs. There's uncertainty about the economy. The crime that's really just super, super pervasive. I mean, you're talking about a city of Milwaukee where driving from 27th in Capitol to 76th in Capitol can be filled with anxiety because of motherfuckers flying past you, running lights, doing heaven knows what on the side streets. You just driving down the street with I'm on my defensive driver shit, and I got my head on the swivel like this, That's anxiety. So that's just driving the car. Not never mentioned that gas prices, the goddamn lights on the dashboard on. I need new tires, right?
Right.
I ain't got no driveway. I got to park and I got parking tickets. All this shit is just dumped in your bucket repeatedly.
Right.
Some of us stop at the liquor store. Some of us go to the weed man. Some of us go to the crack dealer, the pill man, whoever, whatever. Some of us go to Burger King and get a triple Whopper. Go get a whole cake
Right.
around somewhere and inhale it. But they'll say, I ain't got no mental health issue.
Right. Right.
Right. So this is why we talk about it inside out tonight. I got my brother Armando here. Let me bring Armando back in. What's going on with you, brother? How you doing?
What's going on? How y'all been?
Man, we are
Good, man.
great, man. If y'all don't know, Armando's been on the show before, right? So he's no stranger to Outlaw Radio, but his brother does a lot in the community. Armando, tell these people what you do in the community.
Well, I do. Well, I was doing Romaine Talks, which I was doing everything out of my own pocket, feeding the homeless, giving out clothes, feedback, just mentoring youth, violence interruption, like you name it, I was doing it. I kind of leaned back because I was giving too much of myself while not giving to myself.
Right.
So, it was one of those things. But now
So
I've been go ahead.
no, I was gonna ask you in light of what we were talking about tonight. Like, so when you say you was giving up too much of yourself, so that means that eventually you suffer some kind of mental backlash. Like, did it get you depressed when you didn't get the support you want? Did you get stressed? Did you get angry? How did it affect you?
Yeah, most definitely. Like, for me, it was more so, how they say it's layers to an onion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I first got in, it was like, okay, I'm gonna link with some other people that's doing positive and get in that way and just get a feel for it. Cause I was fresh out the joint just doing stuff, you know what I'm saying? So got around with a couple of groups and I seen the politics in it. And I'm like, okay, politics and everything. I'm gonna let it slide. Then I got to seeing that a lot of the people that was saying that they was for the people was really about the money. So it was one of them things where I fell back from them and just got to going out on my own ball type thing.
Okay. So what have you done with Romaine Talks and whatnot? What's going on with that now?
Well, rebranding and trying to figure out if I'm gonna have to really just do it myself or if I'm gonna have a group of people that's gonna support and help me move. Either way, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I just got to figure it out first.
Cause you was even actually you were on the news, like you had a write up on the news and everything. So that's why I'm like, this is
Yeah.
surprising to me. You wasn't getting support.
The write up, like I had to make them calls. Like I was calling the news, like I see y'all only cover groups. Why don't y'all cover individuals? And it was like I had to press the issue. And a lot of the news, like Channel 4, shout out to Channel 4. I got to give them shout out. Channel 4 is the only news station that wanted to cover a solo individual doing positive. Every other news station, like, well, who gonna be there and who's supporting you and who backing you and what part of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of politics involved.
Right, I definitely understand that. And we've talked about Milwaukee being a city of silos, and we've talked about where you got to know somebody. It ain't about what you know, it's about who you know. But people don't understand how much cronyism is involved in like activism and grassroots organization in the city. A lot of people think, well, I'm just gonna go out here and do something. But you start to learn pretty soon when you say, well, I'm gonna go out here and it's other people involved, and then they can say, no, don't support him just because on the strength that they don't like you, not necessarily that what you're not doing is productive for the community. So it does get a little frustrating, and to be out there on that island by yourself for so long, funding it out your own pocket, got to be goddamn just depressing, right? Like, man, can I get a donation or something? Like, y'all really don't see me over here. So I totally understand that. So how are you rebranding? What's your rebranding plan?
Talks. Well,
Hold on.
to invest the money so that we already have it pulled for the events that we plan on, And if I can't get a group of investors, I'm just gonna do it myself. So it'll take me a little bit longer to get the money together to do it, but it'll get done.
Okay. So
You
you
know,
just,
I've been opening a lot of different streams of income too, trying to.
did we
It's
lose
just
him?
been a
Okay.
process. That's all.
I'm sorry for the audio, y'all. I don't know what's going on. It's going in and out. But I just want you to know whatever you got going, you can promote it here on Outlaw Radio. We ain't tripping like that. We got your back.
Okay, most definitely. Well, I got a lot of things going on, man. I finally put out my book, Betrayal of a Stick-Up Kid, Part 1. It's out on Amazon. It's in Barnes and Nobles. It's also on Kindle. If you have the Kindle Unlimited, if you got Kindle Unlimited membership, it's free, but it's $9.99 ebook, $18.15 for the paperback. I've been helping other people get their books published as well through my publishing company. So I got a guy, I call him Atiba. His real name is John Eggerson. I call him Atiba, but I'm helping him pull out a book called Solitary Abuse and Confinement, which speaks on what me and him went through when we was in solitary confinement and what it does to a person mentally and physically, as well as spiritually and psychologically, and how they use it as a weapon and primarily against Black people, really.
Okay. Kamar, you was about to say something. I cut you off.
No, I was just finna commend him on what he doing. Cause see, and the thing is, you gotta keep doing it yourself. We can't look out. We can't expect nobody to help, man. Cause you know what I mean. One of the keys to happiness is to be able to let go of the expectation. You know what I mean? And we just have to make shit happen. You know what I mean? Because see, when I first started learning about herbs and everything. I was studying our culture. I wanted to help our people. I wanted to be able to give people stuff, but I couldn't just give people stuff because I didn't have the money to just keep giving it to them. You know what I mean? So with that, you know what I mean? The whole thing of business just clicked in my head. Well, I got to start selling this stuff so I can help the less fortunate. You did what I'm saying? So even still to this day, I'm able to, you know what I mean, help out people when I can. Somebody gets sick or whatever, a loved one gets sick, I got a package together I could put for them and drop it off, and I could still be that person who I wanted to be in the beginning. You dig what I'm saying? So I commend you. I'm just going to tell you to keep struggling, keep pushing, man. You know what I mean? Eventually something going to shake for you. You know what I mean? Whenever you're doing something right for the community or for the universe or nature, you know what I mean? Good come back to you. That's just how it works, man. It ain't about
Most definitely. You know,
who can help me,
I've
who
been
can help
pushing.
you. You know what I'm saying? It's just about us doing our job. The sun come up every motherfucking day. Don't ask for no help from nobody. No matter what nobody think about it, it just come up and do its motherfucking job.
Most
That's
definitely.
us, man. We
You
got to be
know,
the sun.
that's why I've been like reaching out in a different way. Like the guy John, you know, me and him, we was locked up together. So when he got in contact with me and told me like, hey man, I want to send you this manuscript. I want you to read over it, see what you think. I was like, yeah, people need to hear this, you know. So it's still activism. It's just on a different level, you know.
Right. Yeah, right.
And he's doing Speak Truth to Power Coalition and things of that nature. We trying to put that together where we trying to help people who have been done unjust in the system get their cases back in front of the judges. We trying to do a lot on that level, but I don't want to speak on that until we get to where we going on that one. So you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Besides the books, my bad, excuse me. I'm working on a magazine as well, and it's a lot of stuff. I got the clothing line. I'm gonna rebrand the clothing line. I'm working on it. I'm trying to find a manufacturer for a shoe line I came up with. The one that I had was super expensive and wasn't trying to work with me. So I'm dealing with a lot of different stuff on that nature.
Everything we could do, man, we got to do it.
Right. And I remember, like I said, he had like shoes and he had his book and he was doing music and all this kind of stuff. Milwaukee's a hard vegetable. It's a hard nut to crack, man. Pause. But it is. It's a tough nut to crack because everything that like people who actually have traction up here that are getting things done, they hold it tight. They hold it close to the chest. They go from being potential partners to gatekeepers real quick. And so, only so many people can get through the gate. So I can attest to getting involved in grassroots, boots on the ground activism, getting out on the front lines, only to be kind of shown the reality of the city. And that's why I kind of retreated back to say, you know what, I'm just going to do my show. Like my man said, it's activism. It's just in a different way. It just has to be done a different way.
And that's another reason. And that right there is another reason why, we just got to put our nose down and keep doing what we know is true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Eventually, it's going to be a gang of us out there that's doing what we do, and we going to have the power because we got our own money. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we just got to keep pushing, man. You know what I mean? This how it go, dog. Nobody said this shit was going to be easy.
Right. And that's the whole reason that we remind ourselves of perseverance is one of the main kind of things, kind of one of the main fabrics in our soul. Perseverance. And the show is about mental health, and in particular mental health for Black men. My chat room been popping, y'all, and I want them to know, my people, man, my outlaw families out there, my family members, man, all the way back. People are just, man, I've been missing a lot. Shout out to Sharon Evans. She said, because as Black men and women, depression was taboo when we talked about why we don't go get help for our issues. It has been taboo for a very long time. Paris said, foundational Black Americans, baby, in the building. Sharon said, we assume mental health issues mean crazy. Yeah, the stigma of somebody saying, like, man, I'm fucking struggling over here. You said, this motherfucker going crazy. And then it's like a
right.
Let me see. Erica Veal said dysfunctional. Yeah, because when I was talking about being down in the rabbit hole, when you depressed, when I was young, and I was saying when I was young, I didn't know. I wasn't thinking when I'm depressed. I was thinking, nah, it's going down. Motherfucker got to get ready. Motherfuckers testing me and shit. Show these motherfuckers was happening. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna do my thing. But I didn't know, dude. I learned, like Kamar said, when I got older, I learned, wait, that's dysfunction. I don't want to live like that. I'm not going to move around. I'm not bugs no more, because it's always something, right? No peace, right? Sharon Evans said, word, Kamar, because Kamar been on one tonight, so I'm pretty sure he said something that's real poignant. Hashtag Milwaukee Black Renaissance. I like that, Sharon Evans. I like that. A foundational Black American Milwaukee Renaissance. I like those together.
We getting somewhere.
Right, I like this. I'm like the foundational Black American Renaissance in Milwaukee. I mean, it's all kinds of ways to attack that. I'm digging that, man. I'm digging that. Yeah, we got Armando Duckworth, who's, like I said, he's been on the show a million times. And he's always checking in. He and I have some great conversations. But Armando, what you got to say about mental health? Because you just spoke about your book and the effects of solitary confinement on your mental state. What do you think about this whole Black man? Oh, well, Courtney's here, so we got to say Black people now, not just Black men.
That's right.
We got a lady in the what's your take on mental health for us as Black men?
I mean, for the majority, it's taboo in our culture to talk on mental health. So because of that, people don't want to talk about it because they feel weird, or it's intimidating, or it makes them feel embarrassed to admit, like, hey, there's some things that I can't handle and I'm fucked up about it. So when they see it, it's like, I'm gonna have to find another way to deal with it, because if I tell somebody I need a therapist, or if I tell somebody I need medication, then it's a discussion, when some people don't want the discussion. They just need the help. You know what I mean?
No doubt. And we keep saying taboo, but it's, for us, it's like a sign of weakness. It's like saying you can't take it. He can't handle the whole weight, right? Like he can't handle it. He can't. This motherfucker he weak. It makes people think you're weak.
At one point in time, too, though, like a lot of times, like when we look at the history of shit and why Black people fear certain things, a lot of that stuff has been weaponized against us. Like there was a time that if you showed any sign of anything not being right in the head, that's back when they had asylums and shit, where, it was a book I read in middle school. I can't remember, but a girl was basically through in the crazy house for years. Really wasn't crazy, but, she was being abused and raped by the doctors So like even when you look back at historic, when you talk to older black people, there's a lot of people who, as a kid, my mama was committed, and we was put into the, foster care. So on another aspect of it, right now it has a lot to do with shame, but they might have learned that from people who knew the weaponization of it. They quick to try to, CPS, I mean, still kind of to this day, we got to be a little bit secretive of what goes on in the house because it can have them people knocking on our door trying to take our kids or us.
Right. I want to say this to people listening to the show. I want people to ask themselves, how am I doing? How am I doing? Like, I want you to put all your problems. First of all, the number's 262-202-5131. If you're listening to this show, share the show and ask this question of yourself. I'm looking at all the good stuff in my life. I'm looking at all the stuff that's not so good, right? Things that I'd like to change or straighten out. How am I dealing with it? Am I ignoring something that's festering, that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger? Am I strong enough to confront certain things? Have I dealt with any trauma or any kind of conniptions that I have in my own head? Am I really as sane as I think I am? Because I think if most people look around, because look, even if it's just something as simple as paranoia, where you might be feeling like everybody out to get your ass, right? I see people be broken the motherfucker talking about all my haters. Ain't nobody hating, right? Nobody's talking about you. You're not. I know you're important to yourself, but you got to keep this in perspective. Nobody's out to get you. You actually are sabotaging yourself. Are we eating too much? Because you say, well, you fat, you skinny, right? I want to be healthy. But why are you eating? Do you only eat when you're hungry? Or do you just eat sometimes when you're nervous or when you're upset? Smoking cigarettes, drinking liquor, popping pills, whatever it is you're doing. To what level are you doing or utilizing these things to deal with the stress that you're under? I know people say, I like smoke weed, man. I like get high, man. Ain't no big deal, man. But something's wrong. Or you wouldn't need to pick me up. Or what? Maybe you just bored. Sometimes when I'm bored, I'll be like, I'm about to smoke some. I ain't gonna even lie, and watch a movie, right? I understand that. I understand that, right? I'm man. We about to go out to eat. I'm about to hit a little bowl, so the shit can really taste good. I get that kind of thing, but I'm saying coming home, really sitting down, like, oh shit, man, like, oh man, I can't. When you down and out, a lot of us will reach for whatever it is and say, man, I'm about to shit. I'm about to get fucked up. Where my bottle at? But how much are you utilizing that to deal with what you're going through as opposed to really dealing with it? Our kids being a parent is tough. Listen, it's not for the weak, right? And especially if you're raising them. I mean, because first of all, kids are expensive, right? To be a parent, the kind of parent you really want to be, it takes some twos and fews, right? Because and they always asking for some shit, right? Like, can I? And as a parent, you say, yeah, let me get. You got to work. You got to get some money. You got to, because your basic needs got to be met. That pressure on a lot of us have us smacking the shit out of a kid when they mess up. Fuck, all the shit I got to deal with to feed you. You cussing the kid out. If you don't get your little ugly ass in the room, as hard as I work for this shit, it's not the kid's fault. That's dysfunctional. Something's going on with you. My guy say something's wrong with your brain. I just want everybody in Milwaukee to ask themselves. I think collectively, if we as a black people in this foundational black Americans in this city say, let's all have a serious black mental health day. I'm pretty sure they got one. I'm not aware of it. I'm gonna find out when it is, and we're gonna celebrate it on Outlaw Radio from now on. I'm gonna celebrate it in my personal life. I'm gonna say this is a day where I'm investing in my mental health. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna take stock of things and say, shit, this a problem over here. I got to deal with this shit. And for a lot of us black men, especially at my age, it's going to the goddamn doctor. Man, my motherfucking left side been hurting for 2 years, man. You don't want to go to that doctor as a black man.
You know, really, we should really, I think every morning. Hey, I think every day we need to take about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes out and just do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I say, this is something that we're gonna be doing for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
You know,
if we're smart enough.
growing. You know, I mean, you talk about personal growth. This is something we're working on for the rest of our life. So every day we need to be putting some work in ourselves. You know what I'm saying, as well as in our businesses and our works, and you know, what I mean, our kids. But we got to put some work into ourselves also.
Yes, absolutely. I want to know who out there listening to the show can even relate to what we're saying. And this is vulnerability to be damned. I'm trying to tell you, because it's easy for you to come on this internet and on this social media in front and posture like you doing so out here, right? Oh, workflow. Oh yeah, you see my truck, you see my house, my car. I don't see the envelopes that come in the mail that stress your ass out when you got to pay them notes and the mortgages. You don't show that shit.
Right.
Devin the dude say you crying in your drink like a motherfucker. So and I'm not knocking you if you say I'm getting money, I'm doing, but I'm saying, okay, don't floss it over here, because then you become a victim of it. And then because the reality is like, phew, shit, man, I got to take a little bit more from this white man or whoever this is out here with these jobs, because I got shit to pay. So you it's like being a slave. Like, you want to say, I don't want nobody to get hurt in my family, so I'm gonna be a good slave. You a slave?
It is.
You own.
Yeah.
You a slave to your goddamn truck and your house.
It is being a slave.
Yeah, man. So it's a lot of different things that we don't take into effect. Like, we'll take some pressure. Pressure come with this shit, right? They say you knew the job was dangerous when you took it. The pressure come with it. But when it gets overwhelming, how many of us are ready to just say, okay, hold on. Let me send it. That's what I had to do this summer. This is what I'm telling y'all. The reason I'm doing this show is because I'm being honest about, because I make jokes about motherfucker all day, like that nigga in the house with all the windows up and the drapes down and shit crying. I thought it was funny. That shit ain't funny, right? When it was happening to my black ass, I was like, oh shit. Oh Lord have mercy. What's going on? Like, all of a sudden I ain't never been here where I'm just like, so I'm telling people I'm brave enough to talk about it because it don't make me mentally weak. As a matter of fact, I feel like I came out on the other side mentally stronger.
You do.
Yeah, because you ain't got to put no front up for that no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's right there. That right there is peeling back the layers.
A lot of times,
you peeling back the layers. You letting go of the bullshit part. Say,
right?
You know what I mean?
Shout out to my cousin Nicole Mallon in Illinois. She said, "Hey, cuz, March 1st is Black Mental Health Day. Thank you, cuz. March 1st. We're gonna put that on the calendar." Mano, I want to make sure you get to speak. I'm muting your mic because I'm having a problem with the echo, but you just let me know when you got something to say, brother. I don't want to shut you out.
But don't forget, we got mental
I was
health
just
month.
listening, man. I like to listen and learn, man. You know, I'm hearing some things because, like, with mental health, you know, I got my own issues, and sometimes I'm one of them people where I don't like talking to other people about my mental health issues because it make me feel weird. And especially if I feel like they don't understand anyway. So it's like, or if they going through something too, it's like, why would I tell them what I'm going through when they going through something and it's going to add pressure onto them? Like, it's like you spreading the disease basically.
Right.
So sometimes it'd be like, okay, if I feel this way, is this just the way I'm feeling or is this truth and facts? So sometimes we have to take the time to fall back and look and see if we seeing things from our feelings or the truth and fact perspective.
Right. Because it's a thin line. Because it's a thin line from thinking in a true perspective and overthinking. You know what I'm saying? It's a thin line right there in between there.
I usually tell people, if you feel it is real to you, because perception is reality. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, and I'm that way too. I like to, well, a lot of men, they say is like this, but you know, I don't want to be a burden on anybody else. They got their own problems. Let me duck off, fall back, lick my own wounds. Especially with, like, I'm the oldest. Shit, I've been the head of household for 20 years now. It's like I feel like I'm the shoulders that everybody else on, so I can't afford to let my knees buckle because other people gonna fall. So but that's when I feel like I can't go to nobody else, that's when the plan of action come into play. Like, that's when the breath work come into play. Okay, I'm feeling fucked up. Why am I feeling fucked up? Okay, it's because I don't know what I'm gonna do about this situation. I fuck that situation until I know what I could do. What can I do in this moment right now? I can breathe. And every breath is a blessing. Let me just take 30 seconds, close my eyes, take 4 deep breaths in, 4 deep breaths out. And because that's the thing, a lot of people don't understand. Like, depression ain't unique, unfortunately, in this day and age. Depression, man, when we turn on the media, bullshit. When we listen to music, I was telling my girl today, I said, do you realize motherfuckers try to wonder why they have a bad relationship when for 10 years or whatever, once they grown and hear the music, it's like women don't trust no nigga, they just gonna fuck you and use you. And then on the other side, it's like, dog, don't trust no woman. She just gonna get your bread. So if this is how you lived your life every day for 10 years, when you finally meet that person you want to cut it off for, it takes 21 days to break or create a habit. So if you've been living 10 years about niggas ain't shit, don't let them play you, it's gonna be hard to cut that off. But we don't realize,
my bag, man. My bag. I was just gonna add on to that 21-day thing. That's 21 days of you working on this issue.
Right. With
not
intention.
Just 21 days passing. Like I said earlier, you know what I mean? We got to find time every day to go into meditation and visualize ourselves going through these trigger moments and handling them different.
But the average person don't know how to identify it.
That's how we use meditation, you know what I mean, to fix different issues that we had. And they used that it was a 21-day theory or the 21-day method.
Shout out to Joey Phillips. He said, I can most definitely understand. And it's so helpful to know that we're not alone taking on family responsibilities, and the world gets you down, make you feel like, am I not doing enough? Man, as a man, and once again, Courtney, you the lady on the show, all due respect, and you're in a situation where you got boys, right? Like, so you're raising sons, young black males through this. So I don't want to, if you got something to put into the conversation, because you're the breadwinner as well. So it's not like we discount women, but I'm saying for black men, the pressure of a lot of things, a lot of factors in society that have been around for a long time, it's added on, right? So, and then if you step out here and you got a family, it's even more. It's even more like because unless you don't give a shit about your family or your kids, right? So if you go in that route, then good luck. But I'm saying for me, just even thinking like, man, I can't mess up so bad where I can't provide for mine no more.
Right.
I don't want to make a mistake so bad that and the pressure be there, because like we talk about going upside a motherfucker head, where you be like, man, listen here, man, I'm about to tear this in the fuck. But to do it, then it takes you away. Like Kamar, and we were going back and forth, but I was saying, I'm still under construction, so I'm still at the point where I have to steer clear of certain situations, because I will be made a decision where it's like, damn, I done fucked around, split this dude wig. I'm old as hell, about to go to penitentiary. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, I stick my chest out and go. Like, hey, man, look back.
You ain't got no choice at that point.
Well, I know. I'm saying, I'm saying I'm not going in as a, oh my God, Allah. No, I'm going in there like, hey, shit, I'm up in here too. What my man say, I ain't locked up with y'all. Y'all locked up with me. Fuck that. I'm gonna be a man through this shit.
And this goes like again what Real said, I mean, that 21-day thing. When we working on ourselves, we have to think about these trigger moments that set us off.
Right.
What else can we do in these moments? You know what I mean? And you have to go 21 days in order to reprogram your brain to start thinking automatic. You dig what I'm saying? Because see, that's how we think. If this happened, automatically, this is what the fuck we do. You know what I'm saying? So we have to reprogram, man, and start thinking of other ways and other methods, man, and start going about it a little bit different. Because we do want to be here for these kids and grandkids.
Reprogram. You just said it. And especially as a cat who grows up in an environment like ours. If you come up on the north side of Milwaukee, when I did, and I keep saying the crack era made a certain kind of, it formulated a mentality. It forged our mentality, I should say. Because if you was growing up during that era, to step off the porch, I'm not saying it's different now, but it was new. Up until that point, the entire environment wasn't hostile. Death wasn't lurking around as many corners as it got to during the crack era, right? During the epidemic. So it forged a mentality amongst us as young brothers where we had to look, man, it is what it is. That's what you almost all the brothers my age say that all the time. It is what it is. Like shit, hey man.
Man, I hate that shit.
I don't, because it's so true though. It is what it is.
See, to a certain extent, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Because we was just talking about reprogramming how we think.
Yes, I totally get it. But it doesn't change the fact that it is what it is.
Well, I mean, it ain't gotta be that. That's like a motherfucker saying, that's just how I am, and that's what it is. No, man, you could change.
Well, I'm not saying I don't look at it. I'm not.
But you did what I'm saying. Like it don't have to be that.
Yeah.
I don't look at it like that. When I hear that, I think, hey man, the situation is there and you got to deal with it. Right?
Yeah.
It ain't no, you can cry, moan, and bitch about it all you want, but you got to deal with it. So
once you in the moment, yeah, it's there.
Right.
I mean, well, shit. When I was depressed, when I'm telling y'all that I wish I knew who this was. It says Facebook user. It says unlearn and reprogram. I agree with that because that's what Kamar said, reprogram. But I'm saying
Oshun died.
Oh, okay. People be like, I ain't putting my name on this shit. I told you. But I was saying when I was going through the issues I had, I couldn't pray them away. They were there. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't no, I'm gonna breathe deeply. It wasn't going nowhere. I could have meditated my ass off, but first of all, I couldn't because I couldn't move my fucking right leg. So I would have had to meditate sitting up or standing up. It wouldn't have been no getting down talking about, oh, nobody's your mama. I'm making fun of it, obviously. But I'm saying the way I got past it, Kamar, was to look at it and say, okay, you had a serious surgery and you had some physical limitations. It is what it is. You're going to have to figure this out. It ain't no ducking this one. This is one you got to deal with. So when that's what I'm saying, that whole North Side Capitol Drive, where they tell you, man, put your head up, son. It's too late to cry. My cousins used to always say, when you get in that courtroom, don't look back at your mama. Eyes forward, son. Look at the judge.
Right.
Pay attention.
Yeah, I totally understand. I was thinking different. I was figuring like I was thinking, you know how people they get upset in these situations and like it is what it is. I'm finna pop this nigga. I gotta pop. You know what I mean? Type shit. And that's why I was saying like, no, it don't have to be. To a certain extent, it is what it is, but it don't have to be.
Well, some of the shit we learned too is kind of counterproductive for us because I was raised by old Southern men. I like my uncles, my daddy, and them, and them was the dudes who just ain't no pain. What is pain? Boy, you better get your ass up. It wasn't no. Look, my father.
My mother used to tell me, "Suck it up."
Basically,
suck it up.
Basically, I mean, you probably got your ass whooped more by my mother for crying than what. Like if you came in the house, you had fell off your bike or something, and God forbid, don't let it be somebody was messing with you. The first thing my mother would say is, "Motherfucker, stop crying." First of all, and if you kept crying, she would not help you. She'd be like, "When you get done crying, motherfucker, come talk to me, and you go cry your ass out. Go back outside." Right? So you had to come in and then she'd be like, "All right. Motherfucker, don't walk around here crying. That shit ain't cool. Motherfucker, you don't need to be. That's some hoe shit." I mean, this is my mother telling me this. Like, is you a little girl? Are you a bitch? Stop crying. And you know, I'm looking at moms like, oh shit, okay. It starts from there. And then with my dad, old school Mississippi dude, you go to work with my dad. My dad did industrial scrap metal, which means when you tear down the building, all of the metal, whatever type it was, he gonna cut it up, load it, bust it up, we hauling it, right? I've seen cats bust their head wide open with sledgehammers, bust their fingers, get hands burnt, cut. My pops look at them and be like, shit, what that got to do with you working? We still got trucks to load, buddy. You got to keep working. And if he did it to himself, he's to be all right. I'm like, Pop, you got blood running out. Boy, go on with this shit. It was mental for them, right? And so they taught us to be kind of cold-hearted. The crack era taught us, it shut us all down emotionally as black men because we got to the point where like we was like, man, fuck these hoes. If that's how women gonna be, fuck them. That became our mentality, and a lot of us held on to that through relationships. It prevented us from really being, in some cases, the father or the husbands that we should have been because what was the precedent that we was taught? This world is cold. and it will fuck you over. And it ain't shit you can do about it. It is what it is. You got to keep it moving. But people getting fucked over too bad and they can't get over it. So we got domestic violence. We got murders. We got somebody shoot at the cop. Y'all see this on Galena. There's some 40-year-old dude. I'm assuming he's a brother, letting off at the police as they in the area. And so they shoot back and kill him. When the fuck this shit start happening? And he got a drum on the gun. This is Milwaukee that we living in 2022. That motherfucker say, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. That's some real shit. To get your, I got 1 million straps. And for me to say, you know what, fuck this. I'm about to go up here on Capitol.
But it feels, I mean, what I got from your story, from you and Kamara, first off, y'all had some parents there. You had parents, you had moms. It sounded like people was teaching y'all right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? Even though they was being rough, y'all had someone there telling y'all a little bit of right from wrong, but y'all had people there.
You know and all that shit is the shit they don't let you do no more.
What you say?
All that shit is the shit they don't let you do no more. They tell you being an abusive parent and shit. You know what I mean? But they had us in line.
But what I was going to say was, you know, then there were people like me where we didn't have that parent. A lot of people from my generation didn't have that parent. If you did have that mom was more so not really giving a fuck, as I always say. In my case, where I was always kicked out, it was, you know, you being raised by the streets. So damn near what y'all learned in the crack era was what I learned via the streets. And my motherfucking mama instead of kicking me out, life is cold, the streets is cold, and it is what it is type mindset. You know, when you kind of raised on trauma and raised on survival, like a good portion of us are, a lot of us are on that motherfucking edge. I mean, when you've had a lifetime of trauma, that's why I say it only takes one thing. Who knows what that one thing was for folks to go on Capitol and like, you know what? I'm gonna go shoot at these motherfuckers. It's that day.
You know, the word, like when we say people run amok, that's where that comes from. It was well, I guess it's still a place, but basically it was a place or is a place that's so highly religious that they shun suicide. So when people get so hopeless that they want to die because their religion shuns suicide, they go on a melee or run amok in the streets until society or the cops actually kill them, like that suicide by cop shit. So you never know. Some of these people might get pushed to a point where they done being here, but you know, we're told that suicide is a no-no. So some people be like, hey, you know what? I can't kill myself. I'm gonna just show my ass until somebody do it for me. Right. So like we get that word running amok from the people who do that shit. They was going in the streets with machetes and just slicing everybody until the village killed them.
Wow. Shout out to Joey. He said, yes, sir. She didn't play no games, made men out of you and us. Of course, man, because they were around my family so much. My mama considered them her boys too, Eric and Joey. But the whole thing was that old school mentality. But it was most of the women in our neighborhood were like that. Even the ones that were single, they went to work and y'all stay in this house. Don't y'all take y'all? If I find out y'all was outside, I'm beating the shit out of y'all. And a lot of times we would be friends with them. So they say, Mr. Barnes, they can come down there to your house because they know when I'm at work, they not to bring their ass out, but they can come down there by you. And so cats would come and to be chilling with us. And, you know, we'd be doing whatever, goddamn flipping off skyscrapers and shit. But it was, you know, they were safe though. They knew that they were safe. That was my point. But how much of that, I mean, because we're dealing with, when I'm talking about my parents, especially my mom, she could tell you stories about Jim Crow South that are nightmares that you like, you lived through that, and she'll tell you, but she's to lay it out in living color. So I'm saying that to say she had some shit she was dealing with too. And I seen it, right? I seen it growing up. Like, whoa, she just went nuclear on a motherfucker. Like, goddamn. So that now you raising a kid. So ain't no secret why my shit be fucked up sometimes. Right? Like, and that's not to critique my mom, because I know she did the best she could.
Right.
It's one of those systemic things. that it like I said, it forges your existence. Coming out these neighborhoods,
Yeah.
you got to go through some shit to get up out of here. It ain't no y'all. You just you can go, you get it passed. No, motherfucker, you got to go through everything we going through over here. But I know a lot of cats who'd be like, man, I grew up on 50, 20, 26 and right and 51st and whatever. But motherfuckers, if you talk to somebody who lived in the neighborhood, they say, yeah, he lived over there, but his ass never came outside. That motherfucker never came outside because his mama and them wouldn't let him, or his grandmama and them wouldn't let him. So he lived over there. You knew his ass from sitting on the porch. But guess what? When he did get to go outside, he had to deal with the same shit that was going on as everybody else. Even though you wasn't out here, motherfucker, you here now. Welcome to the stripping game, partner. Like Bernie Mac said in Players Club. So systemically, there's enough pressure applied. But once again, I think we need to start. I keep going back to y'all saying reprogramming. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it even like this. They're still right now, they're still pushing the booster shot for COVID, the Omicron variant. Right? Y'all wasn't supposed to laugh off that shit.
You shouldn't have said it.
And you know, somebody out there probably lined up to get it too. Done caught it twice since they've been boosted.
Right. Let me go get my booster.
The hype on the jug kind of had it died after a while. The jig was up. People like, we can see it. Come on, man. But I'm saying
there's people still out there. Yeah, I caught it, but thank God I got jabbed. It wasn't that bad.
Right.
It's like I know motherfuckers that didn't get jabbed and all they had was the sniffles. So
some people didn't even know that they had it. They just had
it.
They were sick all weekend. Man, I was fucked up last weekend. No, motherfucker, you had COVID. But listen, I said that to say, if you're still wondering why, well, black people, why are you questioning? Why now you see more and more attention being given to the fact that the CIA conducted the ultra experiments, the MK Ultra experiments, in which experimented on black people with drugs, all different kinds of drugs over the years. They're admitting that they had a hand. The federal government said, well, you know, had a bunch of scientists and shit who want to know what happened to it. And they did it to black people. So a lot of times, that means over the years, a lot of times we've gone to the hospital seeking remedies, and they've given us medicine and they've said, well, this is experimental. But you never say, well, how experimental is it? As in it's just getting developed, or as in y'all trying some new shit out on me. Right? We just said, man, it don't matter. Just give it to me. So when you wonder why we're paranoid, right? About taking these medicines and just saying, okay, the government wouldn't do that to us. Now that we know that this is all possible, the reprogramming would suggest that we say, well, hold on, before we take that, we'd like to know what's in that, due to the fact that throughout our history, and you can add the MK Ultra program to the goddamn Tuskegee experiment. So now we giving people syphilis to putting LSD in their shit, and they don't even know that they fucking taking it.
Right.
All done on us, on our backs. And this is part of it contributes to our natural paranoia as well.
Right.
Motherfuckers out to get me, dog. Like, what the fuck, man? I didn't even know they had me on that shit. And so go ahead, Rail.
It ain't just the government, it's also the corporations that control the government. Like there's a documentary series or docuseries on Netflix called, I think it's called What to Know About Sex. And it's just different episodes. And there was an episode about birth control. And it was just talking about how in the 40s, 50s, 60s, I think it was in the 60s into the 70s, they were testing a never used before birth control method in Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rican women didn't know. The doctors just like, here go birth control, try this out. Come to find out, they were getting hit with 10 times the amount that's in birth control today because they use them as guinea pigs, and honestly left a lot of them sterile. And then there's also they talk about circumstances of making men impotent just through the chemicals they were exposed through by working. It was like a pesticide or something they were giving the farmers over in South America.
Pesticides that's in genetically modified fruits and shit.
That shit too.
I always said, man, don't eat them seedless fruits. Because I think that shit may have something to do with making people not be able to have kids. Like in future generations, I'm talking about.
Well, all that stuff play a part. I mean, they got a lawsuit now for people who've been fucking with cotton. So if there's a lawsuit for people with Parkinson's from picking cotton and spraying cotton, what about the people who putting on cotton shirts and sleeping on cotton sheets that probably still got residue of this shit? So sometimes,
what about the descendants of those people who are now foundational Black Americans and their parents
right.
are not there to get their just due? I'd like to see if there's some action here for me. Is there a check involved with this? If I want my cotton check, because my mom and my dad picked cotton. So, but they had me. So they say, well, y'all don't win because they had your ass and you didn't have kids. So the shit didn't work on y'all.
It could have been in another way. Like when we feel Black people just know they feel fucked up. Man, I've been feeling fucked up lately, man. So I needed to. I've been smoking and drinking more. Or man, I feel fucked up, man. I'm about to go out in the club and I wish a nigga look at me crazy. Like we do shit to cope, not even realizing that we're depressed because the lack of awareness. So when you were saying you realized something was going on, that's step one, because once you realize it, now you can start to address it. Okay, what can I do to feel better? They say now that 80% of our serotonin is made in our gut. So eating the wrong shit will make you depressed because it's killing the microorganisms in your digestive tract, and your body is saying that depression is your body telling you something needs to change, even if it's your perception of some shit.
Probably
but
when you eat too much, you be like, oh man, I feel like I ate too goddamn. You didn't. I don't know if y'all ever done this before, but you got to eating something and it was good. Then you said like, oh shit, man, I ate too much.
I do that every time I make beans or chili.
Man, it be slapping though, don't it?
Every time I make beans and chili, dog, I find myself sitting up like.
But then you fuck around and have nightmares because your body be talking to you. When you eat wrong, you will have like that Cosby episode where he ate that sandwich and shit and he fell asleep. Then they delivering sandwiches, subs for babies and shit. That's real, man. You are what you eat, and what you eat do impact your brain and your mind.
That's right.
Sharon Evans said they tried to pull it on her mom back in the day. Look, my mom was diabetic and she had high blood pressure. Ultimately, that's what caused her demise. Okay. But she took so much medication when I was growing up. I think back now, I mean, my mother, I swear, in the morning there was at least 15 pills and insulin, and in the evening there was at least 15 pills and insulin, and this was a daily thing for her, right? And I wonder now, like, man, all that medicine they had, my mom, because I'm dealing with high blood pressure myself.
Yeah,
I'm like, because I don't take nowhere near as much as she did, right? And I'm like, I wonder what all that stuff was. My point with all this is to come all the way back to the center and say, how many Black people are asking themselves right now, I wonder what really was in that fucking vaccine or in the booster? Because they've never still really adequately explained what's in it. If it doesn't prevent it, if it don't prevent you from getting it or transmitting it or dying from it, it just make it less likely that you will be as sick as. That's the most piss poor reason to take a shot. You'll be less sick than he will.
That they mandated on the guise of take the shot, save a life, because you won't get affected, therefore you won't spread it to other people, which is a lot. Like, the reason we don't hear a lot about it now, we hear these weak ass radio commercials of it and shit like that, but they dying down with it because all the stuff that we've been saying that got me in Facebook jail so many times is now coming to light to be true. The myocarditis, the fact that you're only maybe protected for a small window of time, but then it actually lowers your immune system and ability to fight shit off. Like, now they're starting to find that to be true. But outside of heart disease and cancer, which I believe are like 1 and 2 leading causes of death, which are living and dietary habits. The third one is medication, not drugs. Prescription and legal medication is like the third leading cause of death, because people don't realize when you're on a prescription for so long, a lot of people die from, or a lot of people have problems from adrenal fatigue. Like they don't discuss that shit in the doctor's office and all that stuff. A lot of people, when you putting that chemical composition in your body for that amount of time, your kidneys and shit gotta figure out what to do with it. And a lot of times, you can fall victim to adrenal fatigue. It's a dope ass nurse. Well, I don't think he a nurse no more. He said he quit his job, but he do that water. Y'all seen that water in the metal can?
Marty. Yeah, you talking about Nurse Marty. You talking about Marty.
Okay, yeah. He was at the Alice's Garden, and he was saying how he was a
He
leading
been on
nurse.
here, ain't he?
Yeah.
Oh, has he?
Yeah,
that's dope.
Show. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. I seen him at the Garden, and he was talking about how when he was a nurse, they basically just patch motherfuckers up. They come in, high blood pressure, shit like that. They get their numbers right and send them back out there. And he like, I knew who was coming back within a month. He was like, but eventually adrenal fatigue will fuck them up. Then they on dialysis, shit like that. So even when we're on prescriptions to maintain the disease, because that's all it do, it suppresses your body from telling you need to fix some shit.
Well, see, and I always looked at it like this. I feel like people hide behind medication. So I thought the purpose would be, if you're on medication, you start taking that with some lifestyle changes. And eventually with the goal was so that you could reduce the amount of medications you take or stop taking them. Whereas I think people be like, well, I'm guilty of this. Like I eat some shit that I know I wasn't supposed to eat and then say, well, shit, I took my blood pressure medication. It's not a shield. Like you're supposed to cut that shit out and then take the medication in order for it to work. Our problem is because we taking it, we still live unhealthy, and then they got to raise the amounts. It's a whole bunch of different.
You know, you gotta stop doing. If you want to get well from something, man, you gotta stop doing what got you there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you talk about the high blood pressure thing. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that caused them to get high blood pressure, you have to stop doing that. You know what I mean? Because it's a few different ways to get high blood pressure. But what you got to figure out is how you got it. You know what I'm saying? And when you can figure that out, you can fix it.
For some of us, it's even genetic. So it's just, lifestyle.
Well,
Sharon
it's something different than lifestyle.
She said, no, I'm saying if it's genetic, then you really got to be more proactive in your lifestyle. Like, because I didn't
usually it's I'm gonna tell you, Kev, usually it's genetic is something that I think that they programmed into us. You know what I mean? It's the lifestyle, man. We live the same lifestyle that our parents live, that their parents live, that their parents, you know what I'm saying? So we tend to get the same diseases because we doing the same shit.
In my family, it's genetic, but we don't live.
Okay, well, it could be whatever you want it to be. I'm just
we don't live the same lifestyles that our parents, like I don't live the same lifestyle my mom lived.
Well, you eat the same shit.
She didn't live. No, I don't. Nowhere near. Shit, no, I don't. Oh my God. I don't. First of all, this is why Sharon Evans' comment is funny. She said my mom had high blood pressure, diabetes, and she ate pig's feet and lived to 93, and she didn't take but a few pills. So when I tell you, growing up, pork was cooked in my house 3 days out the week at least. We ate pork chops, we ate pork roasts, we ate sausage, we ate all kinds of different pork, right? And
Sound
it was
good
on a weekly rotation. And my mother cooked in lard, okay, and she fried most of what she cooked. My wife does not do that at all. I don't. As a matter of fact, when I get some pork, I be happy like a little kid, like I get some pork, I get some. You know, shit, and she don't fry. Right. And I don't drink coffee. I don't half the stuff she did the way her lifestyle. I don't do it. But
so you can begin to break those generational curses.
And I was an athlete, so I was very healthy for a long time. When I spoke with my doctor, that your family history is important, and he says, but the good thing about it is because you didn't live the same way as her and it's genetic, you can control yours. You can still get better. But it's still something that runs in. I got a lot of
basically what I just said.
I got a lot of cousins who have diabetes and sickle cell, and they got it genetically. And they didn't live nowhere near like their parents did. That's what I'm saying. That's what I heard you say. I got a cousin who just died and didn't live because he was aware early that this sickness is coming, and he still didn't help. it still killed him. It was one of the saddest things I've ever. Actually, two brothers. So I'm just saying, your genetics do matter. They don't dictate it, of course, but they do matter. Like sometimes it's like, goddamn, why I end up with this shit? Well, it's passed down in your genes. Who knows what kind of splicing and fucking with our DNA they done over the years in the first goddamn place? I don't know what fucking. I was born in 2 goddamn vaccinations. We took little chick. Hey. That's why I say, why you don't see nobody with chicken pox no more?
If a child is born by a diabetic mother, and this child never eats any saturated fat, sugars, you know what I mean, to eat right, he ain't gonna get diabetes.
I don't know that to be true.
I do.
I don't. Because my mom was a diabetic.
That's fine. I ain't arguing with you. I'm just, you know what I mean? You can know what you know is to be true, and I can know what I know to be true. You do what I mean? And that's perfectly fine.
Once again, I've had family members who were diagnosed with diabetes at 5 and 6 years old, juvenile diabetes, and they hadn't even, it ain't no pork or nothing. This little kid who got it. So that's what I'm saying. I know that in some cases it can be genetic. I hear what you're saying, but I'm talking about watching my family history over the years when we all little kids and this person is young, but they're sickly. Why they sick? We ain't even, you ain't old enough to be sick yet, but no, they got it. They have it bad.
Well, the crazy thing is, what a lot of us, like we all need to kind of go back and get a crash course and kind of like, we got to relearn biology type shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I try to be real heavy on women taking care of themselves, because what they don't understand is when their grandmother was pregnant with their mama, while their mama was in her stomach, her mama created every egg that she will ever drop from her ovaries. So a lot of times we didn't even realize it, but we're impacted before our parent is even born by the lifestyle of their parent, because whatever they're experiencing creates a biochemical response. So that's why you shouldn't really even stress a pregnant woman out, because on top of putting her at risk for losing the child, even if she is able to keep the child full term, you put her body through some shit that is being imprinted in this child. Yeah. So sometimes we think, well, we was born like this, but it was because what your parent was exposed
to. Stress affects every cell in your body. Stress affects every cell in your body, and those eggs have cells.
Food, all
that's
that
how
shit.
The baby is affected.
So even girls who popping perks and shit, like, I ain't pregnant, I'm okay, baby. But if you do get pregnant, when you're pregnant, it's almost like when you conceive, it's damn near like life took a photocopy of where the mother and father is at that point and reproduce a child. So they might start living better and heal themselves and get better and shit. But wherever they were at in life when they conceived that life, that is the photocopy of the bullshit that they've exposed themselves to. Be it deodorant with aluminum and bullshit in it that's giving all these women breast cancer. Be it talcum powder that's making pussies fall off. You know what I'm saying? So even then, they say really only 2 to 4% of diseases are genetic. Everything else is nurture and not nature.
Joy Phillips says, Sharon Evans, I agree. My grandmother lived to be 95, and she ate pork from the rooter to the tutor. I'm her at all. She passed all. Rest in peace. Yes, your grandmother was a great lady, man. Me and Joy having a 17th Street reunion tonight. Grandmother was one of the.
They ate real food. They ate real, even if it was pork, it was real
was
pork.
Different quality.
It takes 20 apples.
Different quality of vegetables.
Right. It takes 20 apples to equal 1 apple today. It takes 8 oranges to equal 1 orange to nutritional value wise. My bad. So nutritional value wise, which what our body uses to reproduce its cells that are dying daily in the trillions, we need our food to give us the energy and building blocks to regenerate ourselves. So even when they lived to 95 and shit like that, they ate lard from shit that was grass fed. not shit that's in a factory being fed meal and ground up pigs or meal and ground up cows. You know, we get sick because we eat sick ass animals. Like, you ever seen that beef that be having the tumors in it? And they like, yeah, we just cut this part off, put the rest on the shelf and shit. And then we wonder how we sick.
I see that. Sometimes I think that shit's scare tactics.
Oh no, man, that's shit.
I said that was a different pork. Sharon Evans said Courtney's mom moved to Milwaukee when she was 21 and lived in 53206 and dip snuff. Oh wow, okay. Courtney's mom. She said Courtney's mom. That's interesting. I don't know. I can't. I didn't read that wrong. I don't think I did. She said, "Okay, that food is still different from what we have today." No doubt. Listen, once again, that. Oh my God,
man, we was talking about just the other day the motherfucking Kool-Aid commercial that used to be on BT. You know, they made Kool-Aid look so good, dropping pineapple slices in it. You know, all that stuff.
Kool-Aid,
you know,
man, sugar is the shit. Sharon Evans said, no, her mom moved to Milwaukee to live in 53206 and dip snuff. Okay.
Okay.
I'm like, damn, I'm illiterate. I almost got depressed again. I've had debates at my house, in my studio, where motherfuckers went at it about Sebi. And mucus and seeds versus seedless and meat versus. I just sat and listened, and motherfuckers went so hard that I think people getting mad about the shit. That conversation is out there.
What I don't get, why do people even get mad about it? If you don't want to follow what Sebi do, don't. I mean, if you do it. I mean, why I don't even get why people get upset about shit what everybody eat. You know what I mean? You get a bunch of vegan jokes. We get a bunch of vegans talking about, oh, you shouldn't eat this, you shouldn't eat that. You know what I mean? Why does anybody even give a fuck to be arguing, man? That shit is so fucking irritating.
It's because we turn everything into a religion. I mean, even with vegan folk, you know, like the reason, like I hear people that go hard on Sebi too, but my personal experience is me just loosely following his diet was the reason I lost 125 pounds and could begin to breathe out my nose again. Is the reason that I'm going back to it to get this shit back right again, you know. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Sometimes when people go vegan, they judge other people. So now people who ain't vegan already hypersensitive and extra defensive against, like honestly, vegans done became the new Christians. It's like, oh shit, here they come around. Here they come. They about to try to convert me to their broccoli and shit.
They let the vegans in the dough.
You know, because a lot of
they let the vegans in the dough.
Right. Unfortunately, when people get a hold of new knowledge, they become zealous about, like, even with the whole water, don't drink tap water, only drink spring water. It's like, okay, baby, that bottle of spring water you got full of microplastics. So don't shit on nobody drinking tap water. You know, that I think that's the thing. We got to be understanding and compassionate to each other, understanding that we ain't got it all together. Even when you go all the way down to alkaline vegan and that strictness, there's still a level, because really you're not supposed to mix your shit. So unless you eating only peanuts right now,
it's different levels, man.
Right,
you know,
there's different levels.
Who go vegan? Then I done seen people who just only eat fruit. You
right.
know what I mean? I done seen people who only eat like twice a week.
Right. I done seen
and all they do is fruit juices and water.
Right. But when we try to put our lifestyle on somebody else, that's when the friction happens. Instead of letting everybody do their own thing, and it's like, hey,
levels to this shit.
Right. And we got to respect everybody on whatever level they own.
That's it.
Sharon Evans said vegans with coach purses and leather seats in their BMW.
It all depends on.
Hey, then you got that issue. You know what I mean? You got different vegans for different reasons.
Right, because I did not go vegan for the animals. Fuck them. I went vegan for my health. I like plants more than I like animals. And you can't differentiate a hierarchy of life. Plants are alive. Plants think. Plants are sentient. So when you get to talking about I'm vegan because it's the more, peaceful and tranquil. No. Plants want to live. Every time you cut your grass, you smell the screams of grass because they don't shout. They let out a smell to shout. We just don't know how to identify it, so it ain't shit to us.
I tell you what, it's never not interesting on this show. These conversations go up in the air and come back down and go back up again. Said when you cut the grass, you can smell the screams of the grass.
That's what they is. When you break a plant and you smell that shit, they communicating with each other like, "Hey, it's a stupid motherfucker in the area breaking branches, y'all."
Okay.
That plants really talk.
So is
plants
that
had the first internet through the mycelium
Look,
in the
I
ground.
came back when he said you could smell the screams. I'm like, damn, real.
You can smell.
So is the weed hollering out when I light it up like, oh, this motherfucker setting us on fire? Is that
well,
that was when they took it off the stem.
It's already been dry. Like with the plant, it's devoid of life once all the water is gone out of it. Okay. So anybody who do weed right, they gonna cut it, hang it, let it dry and cure.
Why you let it die of slow death? You stressing it had to get dried out.
Yeah, well, and that's the fucked up thing too, because people do stress their weed out to make it produce more trichomes, and that is the plant being stressed the fuck out and panicking and saying, "Oh shit, I might die. Let me get stickier so I can grab pollen out the air better." So that's what we smoke. That's what we get high off of, the plant's defense mechanism.
I saw around he using like 12% of his brain, maybe like 14.
I'm just a nerd.
You know some shit.
The stickiest is the best, so you got the best weed is the stressed out weed.
So yeah. Some people take. Some people
drying it out and letting it dry out. I don't feel like that's killing it, man. That's a part of the cycle.
I mean, it's gonna die and dry out.
That's part of the cycle. You know what I mean? It's gonna die, then it's gonna go back to the earth.
It's gonna get smoked, right? It is what it is.
Well, what a buzz is, the rest of it gonna go back to and get that nitrogen back to that compost pile.
I always feel like, and I was taught, I laugh because Rail said the new Christians, which is beyond me. But that's like crazy that he said that. But I was always taught that we as humans are the dominion. We have dominion over the things that were put here for our survival. So if you need a plant, you cut it. If you need meat, you kill an animal. Like that's what is the top of the food chain. As far as that's what I was always taught. Like, well, and you don't catch me getting no philosophical argument with nobody about what they eat, right? Because I mean, honestly, it is what it is. Like because I have the time or energy to convince you, to unconvince you that what you put in your body you feel like is the best thing for it. So that's like you saying I like carrots and me sitting there for an hour trying to tell you why you shouldn't eat carrots.
Somebody would.
Some people have time for that. I don't. I'm gonna say
the carrot is a hybrid. You need to go back to the Queen Anne's.
There we go.
Somebody gonna do it.
Y'all has to be walking around.
You gotta eat the purple carrots.
Right.
You need to grow the original bananas, not the ones we get out the store. The ones with big ass seeds in them.
No, you gotta go to
burrow
Pete's.
bananas.
You can't be going to the stores, man. Pete's got to. Yeah, it's gonna be people doing all that. Yes.
I'm just once again. I know this show is about mental health, but a lot of this too can be connected to mental health because the confusion
it stresses people the fuck out.
Yeah, stress too. Where they just
right.
I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know. Don't eat this. Don't eat that. Don't drink this. I call myself being healthy and buy my kids some water. You don't know how long this water been sitting in a hot trailer where the sun, because when the sun shines through the plastic, it creates
leaching plastics.
Right. So damn, can't even drink together. Then I just was watching some shit that really ain't got. It really don't have nothing to do with this, but it does. Ayatollah Marv. I live in the podverse, so I'm always on YouTube. I watch YouTube more than I watch regular TV.
Me too.
Right?
Me too.
I'm watching Ayatollah Marv, who is the oldest living Piru blood member from Compton, California, and he starts to talk about the artesian wells or the wells that are in Compton that's where the first bottled water. I don't know if this is true or not, but he's like, well, that's where the first bottled water came from in the original bottled water. So everybody who's been drinking bottled water been drinking Compton water. I'm like, wait a minute. I told you it didn't have nothing to do with nothing, man. I did.
I mean, in
You sound like
Wisconsin,
you
it's
gang
probably
banging, man.
Chippewa Falls and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's springs and shit everywhere, you know.
All the Chippewa Falls is gone from the stores. I've been going. It's really
Word.
yeah, man.
We have
Same
issues
now.
in my house because my wife likes spring water. I like purified water. She says,
Oh,
"No,
yeah?
it don't. Purified water don't taste good to me. Spring water does." I'm like, I don't like spring water.
Why
Like,
not, yeah?
I like purified water. It tastes better to me. It tastes better to me. I don't.
It's tap water. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Is
but
that
if
what
you
it is?
like
I
it,
like
that's
that water too. That
well,
dirty water is delicious.
I mean, shit.
You gotta do better, Kev.
Well, I mean, if that's what you like, that's what I mean.
Drink what
Purified
you
water.
drink. I tell people drink whatever water you like, man.
Right,
Open
right.
it
Just
better
drink
than
water. Right.
Just get you some water, goddamn it.
Purified water is like Dasani or shit like that, where they had that.
I know. I love.
They had that.
The best.
They had,
okay, I see.
but they had
This
that
nigga love
lawsuit.
Dasani.
because-
Oh my god.
I see there. Why you
Nigga
like
said
Dasani.
he loved Dasani.
That is
Damn.
the best
You like
water,
the only
man.
I
motherfucker
love
you
Dasani.
keeping them in
Well,
business.
that's because you like tap. It's cool. That's cool, fam. But that's what it is. It's purified. You know, it's water from the municipal
Man,
source.
shit.
It's purified. Then they put, you
Man.
know, they say added minerals for taste, which is probably
Man, they
some
do. I like
baking
fucking
But I be
soda
telling
or
people
some
that those waters
mineral
taste like rocks.
Hey,
Like,
hey,
you know,
man,
what
look, I
rock
just
tastes
said
like.
I
It's
never
added
talk
minerals.
about
It's the
nobody for
rocks.
drinking water, man, but Dasani is uncivilized.
I mean, shit, it's better than Aquafina, G. Like, Aquafina gotta be the worst goddamn
Aquafina's
water.
disgusting.
Oh, yeah,
Kev, you
Aquafina
like
is horrible.
Aquafina?
Yeah.
I know, I like
Aquafina
Dasani.
horrible.
Oh,
too.
No, okay. See, I used to drink Dasani too till I found out it was tap water. Then I was like, oh shit, man.
Yeah,
They
see,
charging me.
I like my crypto cold. So you put it in the freezer, let it get
Yeah.
solidified, and it's the best water, man. I've done taste tests with the spring water. And for a minute, especially when I was first dealing with my high blood pressure and all that, I was going to the store, going to Walmart, getting the water, what's the water? The water
Spring Mountain.
No, the special water that you get with the shit, not electrolytes, but man, I'm gonna go get a bottle of it, like Smart Water. It's supposed to be.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's electrolytes.
Alkaline water.
Alkaline water.
I was going getting that. I was doing all that, and I was like, this shit don't taste better than Dasani. So I came back home and got me some.
A lot of times the fucked up thing is this: capitalism is real. Whenever people jump on a wave, capitalism is gonna bleed that bitch dry. Like alkaline, you can make alkaline water just putting some baking soda in water. That's alkaline. You've raised this pH above 7. Right, you raise this pH above 7. That's just like with me. I'm a hemp processor. So when CBD was slapping, you seen all these lotions on the shelves talking about now with hemp oil. Hemp oil and CBD oil, two different things, but they know the average person don't know that shit. So they gonna capitalize on the fad. So a lot of alkaline water is just water out here with baking soda or some sea salt in it.
Crack water.
And because they did raise the pH, now they could call it alkaline.
Or a lot of the time when you see it, in water though, is synthetic minerals that they put in the water. So you're not even getting the real minerals. It may help you, it may quench your thirst right away, but in the long run, that shit gonna burn up fast.
See, y'all will be the reason a motherfucker have a nervous breakdown in a goddamn grocery store.
Damn.
You've been in Pick and Save 3 hours. Motherfucker putting water back, going get goddamn good shit. It's just real minerals.
I used to go to the grocery store. I used to go to the grocery store with folks, man, and show them this type of stuff. And you know what I mean?
That's
and
dope.
Take our time and walk through it and teach them about grocery shopping.
You gotta go to Woodman's because Woodman's got the biggest variety of water in the first place.
Yep, I ain't did that in a while, but I used to.
They got the biggest goddamn packages too. Because we used to go there when my kids were little. We ain't no way we gonna eat all these goddamn chips. Yeah, chips for 3 years and shit. I mean, Woodman, and the Negroes be up there, man. Joy said, "For real, what water do I drink?" He said, "Right. So what am I?"
Water is good for you.
I tell people when people ask me that, I tell them to get spring water. But if you got a certain kind of water that you really like, that you know you're gonna drink it.
Right. I'm pretty sure they ain't got no chemicals, man. Because look, if you do look and under ingredients, it lists some ingredients.
Yeah, that
No,
too.
don't drink that one.
That too. It'll
That's
tell
one
you
of
if
the
it got
ingredients.
other shit in it.
I mean, for me, I'm doing good as long as because I fuck some Mountain Dew up. So that's really the alternative. If ain't no Dasani, I'm getting Mountain Dew. I'm saying
What?
I'm just honest
I
about
mean that's and real shit. That's a lot of people downfall. And I have family who buy sodas. Like I be forgetting how like I'm still big, but I be forgetting that I still eat different than other people. Like I forget that people grab boxes of sodas every time they go grocery shopping and shit. Like I'm a water and tea drinker. You know what I'm saying? But like my family is like, oh well, we still get sodas, but we get the diet sodas. No, I would rather a motherfucker drink high fructose corn syrup than aspartame or sucrose.
Right.
Them shits there is the reason
that shit worse
motherfuckers
than
got
sugar.
exactly, and it make your body snatch more minerals from your bones and shit because it tastes the sweetness, but it's not getting the nutrients that sweetness is telling it that is coming into the body. So now I gotta rob that shit from your bones and your teeth. So it's better to fuck with sugar.
If you think we had you twisted over the water, we really got you fucked up over the soda now.
Oh shit.
And
Especially the diet soda. Don't get the diet.
They finna quit watching us.
Right. Well, yeah.
Crazy, man.
Hey, Outlaw drink water no more.
Shit, call it Outhouse Radio. Stop calling it Outlaw. It's Outhouse Radio.
Can't drink water no more.
Yeah, I can't have chitlins or Pepsi. Fuck that, man. Turn that shit off. Look, and once again, this conversation can go on. Like, once y'all have to understand, nobody on this show believes that they are the end all be all. We all just have our opinions. We all have our beliefs. We've all done research in terms of what we say most of the time. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'll just throw some shit out there. But I keep telling you, I'm special. I need Jesus. But no, you can't solve the world's problems through a podcast. So know that. So if you out there and I know some people have platforms and they're like, I'm changing the world. I ain't trying to change the world. I'm really not. I'm really just trying to get black people to think. So I'm not telling you what to think about or how to think about it. I'm just saying, just think, because you'll fuck around, stumble up on some answers, right? Sharon Evans said, drink the sugar and eat the butter. Just to answer your question, the answer was whatever water you want to drink is all good. Right. I guess it's better at this point than vodka. That's pretty sad for me, right? That loves me some good. So I wanted to talk about this too before we got off, and because mental health issues. We talked about what's going on in Milwaukee. Talk about homicide. We talk about black people really just killing each other off. And I know a lot of us don't like to talk about this. They don't want, well, white people kill themselves too. Yeah, Asian people kill themselves too. They do. That's true. That's all true. But I'm talking about foundational black America right now. Right. That's what I'm talking about. So that's why I'm not bringing them up. They say, can't white people kill each other too, man? They meth and they opioids in the trailer park. I know. We talking about FBA right now. Foundational Black America. This young rapper, what's his name? PB Rock, right? Like, and here's the crazy part about hip hop. It's a lot of songs that I've heard on the radio. I don't know who the fuck sings them, right? So a lot of these rapper dudes, I see their names and I don't know what they sing or who they are until they get killed. And so I've heard this young brother's music for a very long time, but because to me, they basically all sound the same with the auto-tune, it's harder to differentiate them. So he was in Los Angeles. His girl, allegedly, they were in Roscoe's. And a Roscoe's in an area that he was not, that people say he shouldn't have been in. And I guess he had on a bunch of jewelry. Okay. Me personally, I wouldn't know what this brother looked like if I seen him. I've heard that name, but I don't know if that, the jury might have been a giveaway. But his girl dropped their location and took a picture of the food. Some cats came into the restaurant to rob him. He wouldn't give his jury up, so they killed him. PB Rock, right? Young rapper, has some hits out here, right? And so now the debate is on about, rappers in Los Angeles, because how many rappers have been killed in Los Angeles or shot? A lot of these younger rappers have been, what's the boy, Pop Smoke? You have a bunch of young rappers who've been murdered in California and robbed. And it's always been a thing about, you go to California as a rappers wear their jewelry, they get robbed, or they say you got to check in and have security and all of this.
Rappers go to Milwaukee, they get robbed too.
Right.
But it was a video of people just getting robbed in LA.
I just had to throw that out there, man. It's Milwaukee, goddamn it.
No shit.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, don't get it twisted. You get the top snatched out your head in this motherfucker. I already absolutely know. But I'm saying, but this happened in Los Angeles. But to get to where you're at with it, Kamar, it's not just a Los Angeles problem. It's a problem all over. Because you get your shit smashed in Chicago. You get fucked up in Detroit. You get your shit kicked in Los Angeles. You get stripped in New York, Miami, Atlanta. The list goes on and on. New Orleans, D.C., Charlotte, North Carolina. They talk about Jacksonville, Florida right now as being like the goddamn Wild Wild West. So Jay Prince from Rap A Lot, he came in and he was saying, like, people saying this gang culture and people saying this and that. It's a problem with us as people that we, you see somebody with some jewelry and your instinct is, I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucker and take his shit. Right. Right. Rest in peace to my homie Ed Wan. This was a long time ago. This is like 1990. My homie Ed Wan, and this was during the time in Milwaukee when they stole starter jackets. He had a Bulls full length starter with the hood with the fur around it.
Oh man.
And some dudes, and sadly, this was a cat from the neighborhood. I'm not gonna say his name. If you know. He went up on dude, demanded his jacket. I guess Ed Wan must have hesitated. He shot him and killed him. Right on like Atkinson, or right in that area. And the crazy part was he didn't even take the jacket.
I was just gonna say, did he even take the fucking jacket?
He didn't take the jacket. And I was talking to my cousin, rest in peace to my cousin Cooley, who was my brother. And I was trying to make sense of it at the time. And I said, dude, he shot Ed Wan over his coat and he didn't even take it. And my cousin looked at me and said, well, shit, it had holes in it then. He didn't want it. Well, what good was it? It had holes in it. And that always resonated to me as the coldest shit like in the world. But we were desensitized to it because it was happening so much. So it's akin to what's happening now, where our young people are just desensitized to it. And they're saying, well, shit, he should have gave up his jewelry. That's not the point. Or he shouldn't have had on his jewelry. Or his girl shouldn't have dropped their location. None of that's the point. The point is a motherfucker should be safe to go somewhere. Yeah. And I don't advocate because
take a picture. So you should be able to go somewhere, take a picture, and do a post to support the business where you at. You should be able to do that.
I'm an entertainer.
Because that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I should be able to be all with the owner. Like, yeah, I'm back. So we missed the point. He shouldn't have had on all that jewelry. He should have had security. He should have. That environment shouldn't be that bad. That the environment shouldn't be that bad.
Right.
This purge thing that they got coming out in Chicago. Listen, I want black people to understand they are going to enforce their own rules when it comes to dealing with this dysfunction, be it by gentrification or mass incarceration, the reinvention of mass incarceration. Like where we thought, okay, we think we understand it now. They can come with a whole new wrinkle to how they do things, especially when they have all these conservative white Supreme Court justices in place. And if you watch the shift of power, watch who the judges are. I keep telling black people, we be worried about the wrong shit because we arguing about who the alderman is. We need to be worried about who that goddamn judge in Madison is. We'll get his or her ass up late at night and go vote on some conservative right-wing shit. And we'll wake up in the morning with a whole new goddamn law in place that we could like, what the fuck? When they passed that?
I just finally, everybody was talking about this shit, The Handmaid's Tale, and while I was combing out these locks, I turned that shit on. Nigga, just changed the whole motherfucking law. Women ain't got no rights. We can't own no property. Like, what? And you just gotta have people babies. Like, what? In this law. Woo!
It could happen.
That's how it was before.
That shit happened.
It has happened.
People get in power.
Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
You couldn't have paid a lot of people in this country right now 2 years ago if you say, dude, they gonna go back and repeal Roe versus Wade and make abortion illegal. People would have said, man, get the fuck out of here. That shit been a law for 50 years, bro. They're not gonna do that. So we gotta be careful saying, man, they can't do that or they won't do that because they will. That's why we gotta try to do something about the people. See, it ain't. It's just like with the Queen. When we was talking about how we didn't give a fuck about the Queen being dead the other day. No disrespect to the dead, but I'm a foundational Black American. I can give a fuck about a colonializer or a colonizer or whatever the fuck you want to call them. But it was about with the Queen. It was about the power that she stood for, the power that she perpetuated, that continuous system of oppression that's been on people's, that had its foot on people's neck for years and years. So it wasn't really about her personally when I'm saying fuck her, but it's like fuck what she stood for. Fuck the system that she perpetuated. They're showing that goddamn crown she wore on her head for years, and that motherfucker got every third world country's top jewel on it. I can't remember what they called it. They said it's like a living monument to oppression because it's stolen jewelry and diamonds.
And that's what it is.
She's been allowed to wear this shit her whole life. And you go outside with some stolen shit, you getting arrested. You was receiving stolen property. Y'all ain't saying that to the goddamn Queen, right? So
right.
It's about what she stood for. And so I say that with these, the only partisan thing that I do get involved with is when I look at a lot of right-wing politicians, I say the principles that you stand for are counterproductive for my people, right? And it ain't that much difference between the Democrats because there's some liberals who the shit they stand for ain't good for us either. But I'm saying more often than not, when you look at those old conservative Republican white dudes that come from the era when we were still referred to as coloreds, right? Or who inherited that old money and that old power, right? They mean us no good. They're gonna vote against the interests of us 9 times out of 10, right? So I'm saying we got to be more aware of that shit, man. We got to be more aware of these judges and how they moving. Because like I said, we don't know what they're gonna cook up to deal with us. Because last time they came up with these laws for black people got when we start dealing drugs. Because first of all, you got to understand organized crime been around running this country forever through bootlegging and through prohibition and drugs and prostitution and labor rackets and all this shit. That shit was allowed to go on. Black people got crack and start really getting money and getting access to some real kind of, because once you start getting real money, you start getting some real traction. They switched that shit in 5 years. Like shit, that. We ain't gonna let these niggas get involved. Hell no. So imagine what they're gonna do this time to our kids. They're already setting up our young teenage brothers for the okie doke, right? Because you pushing them through school and you believe in social promotion and you basically grading on a curve. And I've written an IEP before. So we're saying he or she is only expected to complete 65 to 70% of the normal work that a student would, and they'll pass, right? You setting that motherfucker up, right? Because when you at work, you got to do the same amount of everything that everybody got to do or you don't keep your job. So you pushing our kids out here with no real skills into a world where now the laws are enhanced for those who don't have skills because y'all gonna fuck up somebody who does. So now we're gonna get some more money for more police and more lethal weaponry and more kind of real tactical gear. One of the things about Obama that I laughed about that people didn't realize is that he got a hold of so much surplus military gear from those wars in Iraq and all that. All of a sudden, when it was a threat, every police force in the country turned into goddamn G.I. Joe. Where they get that shit from? They got a robot? That's that surplus military shit. It's passed along. So I'm just saying, where it's going right now, it makes me nervous because I feel like by dealing with our mental health, by us not really being concerned about the right things, we kind of painting ourselves into a corner in this country. And I say foundational Black Americans, we're painting ourselves into a corner with our dysfunction because they're going to come and move you around because they control a lot of the shit. Like where you live, oh, I own my home. Well, you know what? You won't if they jack them goddamn property taxes up so high. You're going to sell that motherfucker. Or you're going to get it taken. They can do that. Don't tell me they can't. We just looked at in Milwaukee last year, there were people who had property taxes go up 70%. A little birdie downtown told me they had a new program that they was implementing to do assessments, and they didn't even know how to work the motherfucker. So assessments coming out all over the place. I'm just saying. That's why we got to keep our eye open. We got to at least be healthy enough to say, hey, whoa, don't do that. Because if we all fucked up, there's no resistance. There's no resistance given. So Yeah, I went out on a tangent with that because I want people to understand what's going on, especially in Milwaukee.
No,
Especially
that's cool. That because it contributes to the mental health.
People in Wauwatosa in affordable housing. And that's gentrification. That's gentrification 101. Build some complexes in Wauwatosa. Put their ass out there. Go ahead, Rail.
I know. I was saying that contributes to the lack of mental health. Because I mean, even with the politics and shit, like you said, we dealing with everyday run of the mill stress factors, and then now with this being like a political year, you damn near like, damn, I don't know who to vote for. I don't. First off, I don't want my guns messed with, and I don't want motherfuckers mandating jabs. Like that's the thing. Like that's one thing about Republicans I fuck with. It seemed like whenever they do some shit, we could identify the enemy. It's like, okay, it's us against the government. But when Democrats do shit, it's almost like they try to turn the people against the people. Like, look at New York. They still ain't lifted them like jab mandates where you can't go to certain events without, COVID.
I thought they did. I thought that's why Kyrie could play next year.
They starting to slowly lift shit, but I mean, as far as like even Chicago, because you remember Chicago was like baby New York. Whatever New York implemented, Chicago was doing too. So it's like with this political year, now you coming against the everyday stress factors and the confusion and stress that the mudslinging caused. Because it's like, if I did decide to vote, like I said, I don't know who to vote for. I don't want my guns fucked with. But then, right, I don't want my guns fucked with, and I don't need no mandated jabs. So that kind of pushes me to one side that people are saying, hey, we're gonna be slaves again if you vote for them and shit. So it's like, but at least I know who my enemy is. Because I don't fucking like Democrats to me, just hoe ass, they got hoe ass tactics. They underhand, like all that shit, like they gonna drop a bag.
They just hoe ass niggas.
I was about to say that, but I'm like, no, it's the tactics. Cause like even with the whole the Trump and Biden shit, like they drop a bag on the media, man. Like Democrats heavily use media and they use the emotions of black people. That's what I don't like. It's almost like they done turned us into they fighting pit bulls. At least with Republicans, you know who the enemy is.
What I would say, real, is they both do the same thing. Because and once again, I'm having this conversation with my wife while we're watching television. She's like, these political commercials are just crazy.
Man, they
do them on both sides. I'm watching Republicans talking about Mandela Barnes won't police.
Oh, right.
I'm like, damn.
You thought crime was bad?
Now, Mandela Barnes is dangerous. What the fuck? Like, and Democrats come on and do the same. Tim Michaels won't. He want to bomb in your ass. You want to blow your ass out. Don't vote for Tim Michaels. You're like, damn, you want ass blowing to be legal? Tim Michaels said, cut your dick off. But like, damn, what Tim Michaels, don't vote for him.
Right.
They both do the same shit. They both do the same shit. So that's why I say we party poopers, man. What I look at is this. I judge each individual as an individual, right? And if you're a politician, I'm gonna look at who you with, what you stand for, and what you're talking about, right? And either for us as people of color, foundational Black Americans, either with us or you against us. You can't be straddling the fence. So you can't tell me I want to get rid of affirmative action, but I believe in equality. Then if you want to get rid of affirmative action, you don't believe in equality. Yes, I do, but I just don't think people should be given things. Okay, but do you believe in all of the foreign aid that's applied to foreign countries, like Ukraine, for a white supremacist country, or like Middle Eastern countries that we went over there and blew up, and now we paying to fix the shit back up when you got people starving right here in your own fucking country?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, yeah, but that's necessary. See, you straddling the fence and you ain't getting my motherfucking vote. That's why I don't say Democrats or Republicans full of shit. I say politicians are full of shit. It's their job to be full of shit, though. Right? And big money controls elections in this country. So big money is really who's running whatever. So if I'm down with the sugar people, if the sugar industry get behind me and say, we really like you, Kevin, we want to contribute to your campaign, you best believe in 2 weeks I'm gonna be in Hawaii on a goddamn commercial with some goddamn sugar cane farmers talking about sugar. Natural sugar's good for you.
With Kool-Aid.
Right. With a bunch of dead diabetics saying, yeah, motherfucker, okay. Right. So big money dictates that. And that's why I say politicians are full of shit. That's why we as people shouldn't be making our mind up about it before we even get to the poll. I'm going to vote Republican today. You should be able to vote cross ticket. Like I vote, I'm vote over here with him. I'm vote over here with him. He want weed legal. Boom. He want hookers, prostitution legal.
That shit is fucked up.
Right. So it's all a game. It's all a game.
I don't think that shit ever gonna happen here. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's why the power of the write-in is mighty. You know what I'm saying? I write a motherfucking name in quick, fast. Because like I said, when it came to Trump and Biden, I would have fucking voted for Daffy Duck if he was running. Because I just didn't want to know he was a kid, but Trump.
So did you write in Kanye?
Nah, I wasn't fucking with Kanye either. Right? Nah.
It ain't no point of going though. If you like, that's why I never wanted to write in nobody because I know they ain't gonna win. So I could stay my ass at home.
You could have, but it's a ballot. Hold on, Rail. It's a ballot with it's plenty other elections that you can vote in. So if you just don't go at all, you miss the opportunity to vote on several different offices. That's why when I get to one, I say, okay, I'm gonna write this in, but I'm going to vote for him.
But you voting for the other one. Okay. I thought you meant you was writing in every one of them or something like that. Oh, okay.
It's like Kamar would say, it's levels to this shit. You got to love on yourself.
Love yourself, nigga. Vote.
Right.
Oh man, I fucking have a great time with y'all. But no, I'm just saying, man, like I want black people. All of the stuff we talked about tonight, believe it or not, contributes. The dysfunction and the confusion and not really knowing, that contributes to the pressure and strain on your mental health as well. And sometimes that's why Kamar says all the time, you have to take some time and say, let me just let everything go for about 2 hours. Let me just I'm just chilling. I ain't worrying about it. And I'm what I'm learning is all this is really centered around me going through an episode this summer, right? And I was open and honest about it. And once again, I wasn't like to the point where I couldn't think straight. I was still serviceable to my family, right? I still was working, which actually pushed me over the edge, because in dealing with what was going on with me internally, the pressures of my job got to my ass. It looked like a Chappelle show skit when you show up to do a presentation and it's fucked up. You looking like Richard Pryor on his worst day. Right? So I'm in a presentation and I know everybody's like, what the fuck is Kevin talking about? It was that real for me, where
I've been there.
Giving a fuck about work. I was like, man, I'm dealing. Every time I get an email, I'm like, I'm dealing with some shit over here. Stop emailing me.
Man.
Right. But so when it came time to do my presentation, I'm in that motherfucker like, well, 4 years ago, and that motherfucker's like, lost his mind. So and people can laugh at me and say, damn, it's like showing up at work with your pajamas on. Aaron, you come in, hey, how y'all doing? It's going y'all. What the fuck wrong with you today? It can and I promised myself, once again, when that ray of light cracked through, and I said, dog, I'm fucking depressed. I'm like, for real, I'm dealing with some depression. And I started to see the light. The next thing I did was say, I'm not going to work tomorrow. I took a day off. We didn't do the show. I sat back. I said, you know what? I ain't gonna let this shit kill me. I sat back, and then as I kept dealing with it, okay, now you got to work to get out of it. You got to undepress yourself. Right? Undepress yourself. Like, it's funny. My son is these little Orby guns with these little water orbs in them, right? And you shoot them and they bust and they biodegradable. And we just got to shooting the motherfuckers at each other. And I just went on Amazon and went buck and bought like 5 of them, straight machine guns with drums with 30,000 Orbeez in the clip. And we just go at each other. I got 3 in the garage. He got 2 running around the yard, and we just and it's a stress reliever, right?
Yes.
So I said, oh, okay. Then I started watching some shows again. Start getting in the news again, getting on Facebook again. And like, man, I said, oh man, I'm coming out of this shit. Instantly, my feet start feeling better. Instantly, I can move my leg again. Instantly, I'm like, okay, damn, I cut that goddamn stress loose, and I'm better, right? So I said all that to say, if you out there and you dealing with some shit, it is okay not to be okay. You don't always got to be the motherfucking hero, right? You have your times where it's your episode to shine. You have your times, you have your adventures. Sometimes you got to fall back though and say, man, I'm good on this one. I'm about to let me take a deep breath, man, because this shit is just too much going on. And admitting to yourself, hey man, I got to fall back. Because a lot of us just can't say it to ourselves. We just be like, man, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. That was my attitude until my body said, you can't do it. Sit your ass down. Right. And so I'm just telling my people, man, where I was at. I feel like if I tell people my story, somebody will be able to relate and say, I'm going through that right now, Kev. Or man, I totally get that. So go ahead.
You know, like in those times, you got to learn how to bring yourself back to peace. You know what I mean? Back to your peace. You found your peace. You recentered yourself. You know what I'm saying? And see, here's the thing, right? When you get into those moments, they say God is peace and love, right? God speaks peace and love. But you have to be in that state in order to get the message. You did what I'm saying? In order to get it. Like you said, you got that light. It came to you. You found that spot. You did what I'm saying? That was it right there, dog. God is peace. You know what I mean? So you only understand the word of God when you in a peaceful state.
That's right, man. That's right. And don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed of it. That's okay to say, man, hold on, I need some help. This shit done flew by so fast. It's 9:47, so we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. Kamar, what you got coming up this weekend?
Okay, tomorrow I'll be at Skybox from 5 to 9. Friday I'll be at Outpost, and Saturday I'll be at the Fondy Market.
Okay. Y'all make sure y'all support. Y'all see this brother's products. Make sure y'all support. Real, you got something coming up, or you just continuing on what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm still slapping the books. 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope on Amazon. Also, my multidimensional mindset gratitude journal, which has a mood tracker in it, so that you can keep track of your mood daily and identify any kind of patterns that you ain't really feeling. And then also, as far as the Black therapist, I got a couple friends who are Black therapists, but then I was just by me putting my book in Honeybee Sage Wellness, Angela let me know that there was a therapist who really loved my book and wanted to collab with me. So, we've been in some dope ass shit, man. So we've been in communication. She want to, get some consultations and possibly collab in the future, helping some of these, brothers who going through shit to see somebody who's been in it and learned how to get itself out. And, I tell people, tell your story. Don't be embarrassed, because somebody is dealing with it too. And it's your transparency that allows transmutation. You know what I'm saying? You got to be transparent to transmute that shit into, gold from that base ass material.
That's what's up, Courtney. When you got the juice popping, the
website is always available: www.alkeyswellness.com or alkeysjuices.com. Whatever you want to type in, you can always order whatever you need. The cleanses, the packages, tea blends, the body butters, all those things are available. I don't have any events coming up, but I did just ask to be a part of the OMG Awards committee. So I think we have our first meeting next week. So I'm excited about that. They want
okay.
We're gonna be planning some stuff. And we didn't have I wasn't around for the book. Boom. We got a book. This is the big book of religion. The religion's book. So this is the big book of everything explained. They have a whole variety. I have this one. I have the big book of psychology. They have it on economics, all types of shit. But right here, with all the different religions, you want to read about the universe, Buddhism, Christianity, baptism, all that shit. You want to understand it, all of them at the same time. Wow, there you go.
Where you get that one from?
Amazon.
Okay.
I'm sure you make your Amazon got a little bit of everything. That's about the easiest way. You can find real book on Amazon too.
For sure.
Same time.
Right.
Y'all
I appreciate that.
Farrell, I got hoodies coming. I got t-shirts. I got a bunch of stuff coming,
snap.
Man. Y'all holler at me for this. I keep forgetting to promote it. I know. I forget it. But you just got to send me your sizes, and then I'll tell you how you pay for it, and then we can get you on the list. But this is just one variation of them. So we have several different designs. My wife ain't no punk when it comes to making shirts, right? We self-contained now, so I don't even have to depend on getting somebody to make them all that. We can do everything in-house now. So, and I got to do a better job of promoting our sponsorships, because I really want to get some sponsors in here and some partners, all in due time, man. As I get stronger and keep rebounding from this, which I will. We'll get a lot of things done. I just shout to Vince Tony, who just hit me today. Like, man, I love the show. I love what y'all do. I just want to support. And Vince has always been a supporter, so he's always been just buying apparel and everything. So shout out to Vince Tony. But I'm just gonna sit down with some people, man. We gotta make what we do bigger. I get mad because I feel like Milwaukee doesn't give us the respect we deserve. I know they don't, because I know some cats out here. I see some platforms that's garbanzo bean dumpster fire. They don't give you the good guy, they give you shit. I'm for real. There's nothing to be learned from them. There's no. I'm not gonna say they names, right? I'm not gonna Tupac hit them up. But I'm just gonna say, what's real needs to be recognized, and we need to get more credit and more pride. Like you name somebody that 9 times out of 10 they've been on the show. So, and we've been doing this for years. So it's no excuse for.
You know what I'm saying? And he don't even go on other black shows. We ain't gonna name no names. But.
Well, I would. Motherfuckers won't invite us. Yeah, and I'm calling them motherfuckers. I'm calling them out. Because we've had a bunch of motherfuckers on here on our platform who didn't invite us on their shit afterwards, so we never had them back. Yeah, and I can say that out loud. So, and I know Kamar, he looking at me like, Kev, chill, just take it easy. No, fuck that. I'm just saying, because we show love to everybody. We've had everybody. We've had so many people on, promoted they shit, supported them through the People's News Network, everything, and they show us no love in return.
Hey, you know what? And you know what? We're going to continue to do our good deeds, too. We're going to continue to keep doing us. That's why we keep popping up with more shit. You know what I mean? More ideas, more everything just keep happening. You know what I mean? We're going to keep doing what we do. And eventually, you know what I mean? Hey, man, you can't help but to holler at us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. But you know what I'm saying? But now it's probably going to cost you.
Right. That's how that go.
But that's just how it works, man.
That's how
you know
that
what
go.
I'm saying? You know, like what I learned with what I do, you know what I'm saying? I learned a long time ago to not worry about the people close to me who I feel like should be supporting me. Don't worry about if they support me or not, because it's a whole world of motherfuckers that's ready to support me. You know what I'm saying? I just got to find a way to reach them. And then everybody going to be there with me, because they going to see it's still love. You know what I mean? I ain't going nowhere. I ain't changing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's still love.
I ain't bitter. I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it a buck. I ain't here to sugarcoat shit. And once, like Kamar said, I still invite people on. I'll still support other people and whatnot. But I do recognize the fact that, I don't know. I've been told that a motherfucker don't want to get their shit stolen. They don't want, because we've been known to go into some other people's platforms and
kind of run the show. it turned into Outlaw Radio. We went on WNOV, man. It turned into Outlaw Radio on WNOV.
I would if I showed all the text messages and all the people, man, I want to follow y'all. Just the best thing I've heard and like, come on. So, and I don't want to end the show on a negative note, but that had to be said, because I'd be quick to be like, fuck them, right? Come on, be like, nah, Kev, you can't do it like that. But I'd be like, oh, these motherfuckers, they've been on our show twice. They ain't even asked me to come to. It's a lot of events. They send out shit. We don't, It's good. It's good. Love yourself, right? Love yourself enough to recognize when you need help, right? Mm-hmm. And one of my issues has always been anger, right? And so, but I've been magical in dealing with it. And if people who knew me a long time ago come around me now, they say, yeah, this motherfucker's totally different, because that motherfucker used to be all about, like, man, part of it got to be with my ass being old too, right? You too old. But I'm just saying, my mentality, I don't let my anger dictate to me the way it used to. I used to let Kev drive. Now Kevin drives, right? And I put Kev in the back seat. And it's the difference between them two dudes. B said you don't get a pat on the back for doing what you're supposed to do. You're absolutely right, B. You right. And God knows I'm supposed to do this, right? It is what it is, man. I just want to say to y'all, man, be strong, man. I won't talk to y'all until Monday. I'm trying to bring the sports show, the Big Black Sports Show, back in the next 2 weeks as my Packers keep going, whatever, win, lose, or draw. I'm riding with them. I already told y'all how I feel about Packer haters on Monday, right? I already told y'all. Go back and watch the show. You'll get a mouthful. But I'm gonna try to bring that back, man. And in the meantime and in between time, pay attention to what's going on around you, man. Once again, don't leave here thinking that we were trying to tell you what to think. We just want you to think, man. Because when you start to really consider who you are and what you are, you figure out your spot in this world. And if you black, you get to the point where it's like, does my criticism outweigh my contribution? Do I talk a lot of shit and swallow a lot of spit, but never get my feet on the ground? If your criticism does outweigh your contribution, your ass is a coon, and you need to check us out more often, right? Peace and love, man. Hit like, hit share, hit follow, man. Y'all have a good night, man.